and black. And our broadcast booth brought to you by Bell Tire. If you can't find free air, a free flat repair, and the lowest prices, find a Bell Tire. I'm guessing Bell Tire may be a little busier than normal on a day like this. A few blowouts, right?
Yeah, low tire pressure on cold days like this. Oh, boy.
Nobody likes to play in cold weather, even the guys from Canada, right?
That's a fact.
You just bundle up and then you forget about it, right?
Well, here's the thing. You realize, even though you absolutely can't stand this kind of weather for baseball, baseball's a summer sport. You like the warm weather. You know the cold's part of it, start and finish. But no matter what, you look across the field and you see the other guys just as cold as you.
So Shane Smith, who was an all-star as a rookie last year, has had 2 bad starts. But he's bound and determined to get it figured out. He'll try to do that today against the Orioles. And I think we're going to see a lot of four-seam fastballs. That's the pitch he has not commanded. But he needs to have that pitch to be successful. So his first start here at home this season, he faces Taylor Ward. First pitch of the game is taken for a strike. Good start. 36 is what I heard, right?
Yes, you did.
36 degrees, the official game time temp. Not too many colder days for a baseball game. Check swing. He went around on a curveball.
Temperature's not going to be... Our first pitch temperature, 39 degrees Fahrenheit. We're bundled up. The pitch, swing and a miss. But after the breaking ball, and Ward is down on strikes. Getting us underway in the first inning, brought to you by Jones Junction. If your vehicle needs service, stop by Jones Junction. Any maker model online at jonesjunction.com. So 1 up and 1 down. That brings up Gunnar Henderson, who left the yard yesterday. A towering shot straight up the right field line. Hooked it around the foul pole by the time that it landed, but it was fair when it crossed the pole and the outfield wall for his third of the year. It was a prodigious shot. Pitch from the right-hander outside. That's ball 1 on Henderson. Shane Smith turned 26 years of age on Saturday. A non-drafted free agent by the Milwaukee Brewers. He was Rule 5 by the Chicago White Sox and had a great campaign last year. The pitch and tight. 2 balls and no strikes on the left-handed batting Henderson. He became the second Chicago White Sox player to get Rule 5, go to the big leagues, and then in the same season become an all-star. Dan Uggla was the first. The 2-0 outside, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. Smith was a mainstay in the rotation last year. Above average pitcher if you look at how the metrics evaluate Shane Smith. Through 29 starts, he had a 381 earned run average. 3-0, no green light, strike on the outside half, and it's 3-1. He's got a big fastball, long extension, induces a ton of soft contact. One down, nobody on, 3-1. Way outside, that's ball 4. And wrapped around the outside corner. And Gunnar Henderson with the free pass gets his first assignment on the bases. A 1-out base runner for the Orioles. Pete Alonso comes to the plate. 1 for his last 16. 8 for 39 to begin the year. Doubled over the weekend in Pittsburgh. He homered a week ago. Righty on righty. The pitch. Swinging a foul back for strike 1. Outfield lined up straight away, the infield back. Alonso playing at first base today. The pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Brett asked manager Craig Albernaz on the pregame show, did today's shift in scheduled start time, because it was taken up over 4 hours, change the plan on who he wanted to play versus the night game followed by a day game? The 1-1, swing and miss. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Alonso. And the answer quite simply was yes, and it had to do with the catching core, but also the fact that this week it sounds like the Orioles really want to get a couple of guys off their feet. Today, Gunnar Henderson is DHing. Likely in the next day or two, depending on how things work for the Birds, Pete Alonso could get a DH assignment. 1-2 on Alonso. Runner at first and one out. And a move to first base, and Henderson hustles back to the bag with a hands first dive. Hydrot drifting towards second base, his hand tucked deep in his back pocket. It's one of those days where the players are heavily guarded. The 1-2, low and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And usually when we're talking about players being guarded, we're talking about body armor, protective guards on ankles and feet, shins and elbows and wrists and the back of the hands. Nope, it's about adding layers today, thermal layers. Big lead by Henderson. He stays. 2-2 to Alonso. That tails outside. A smattering of groans down below from a widely scattered crowd. 3 balls and 2 strikes. A lot of pitches early for Shane Smith, who struggled in the early going. Runner goes from first. 3-2 to Pete, fouled back. And the count holds 3 balls and 2 strikes on Alonso, who went 0 for 4 last night in the series opener. An eventual Orioles victory. Their 4th of the year, slammed the binders on a 3-game skid coming out of Pittsburgh. Big lead again by Henderson. He stays, and Alonso pokes it foul, third base side. That goes skipping past Buck Britton.
By the way, Wags, based on the information we were sent, this is the 17th game in Orioles history going back to 1970 that started at less than 40 degrees.
It's a chilly one, for sure. And we got that game in 1971 Jim Palmer loves to talk about in Cleveland. Runner at first, one down. There goes Henderson again, and high and tight fastball twists Alonso at the waist. He avoids getting plunked by the pitch, but he'll take the walk. And all of a sudden, back-to-back free passes for the Birds have the Orioles threatening. Walks are brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Get out of pain and back to doing what you love at the Good Feet Store. Go to goodfeet.com to find a store near you and book your appointment. You know, it was really interesting, and we can dive game by game into that, depending on how the day goes, Brett, but a lot of the games that the Orioles have had to deal with frigid conditions were not in Baltimore. On the road.
Almost none.
Here's Samuel Basallo. Big left-handed batter at the plate. And the pitch from the righty. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Basallo thinking about a fastball. Got the curve. And went right over the top of the break. After the big cut, Basallo wants time. Steps away. Up on the card, batting in the cleanup spot today. 4 for 27 on the year. A home run and 3 driven in. Orioles are threatening, and Basallo hits it in the air down the left field line, twisting towards the chalk. Racing back from third goes Murray. Benintendi is late arriving from left field. He was shading more towards the gap in left field. So a greater distance for him to travel after that ball. They just kind of died floating through foul territory. Big spot for Big Sam in the cleanup spot, fueled by Club Citgo. Clean up on savings every fill-up with Club Citgo. Download the app and start saving. Basallo in the left-handed batter's box, staring out. Anderson drifting his lead. Good distance away from the bag at second. Alonso gets a large lead at first. Long look back by Smith. Now turns his attention to third and deals. Swing and a miss. Basallo into the glove. And around the 2 walks, a couple of strikeouts for Shane Smith. He wasn't long his last time out. Sandy Alcantara was part of the reason, too, because that guy was carving for the Miami Marlins. A 3-hit complete game shutout over the White Sox. But Miami built an early lead on Smith, up 4-0 in the first, and then eventually 8-zip. Dylan Beavers at the plate. It's a called strike over the knees. Dylan trying to snap out of an 0 for 10 rut. Another left-handed batter. Runners on at first and second, 2 out. The pitch on the outside corner. Another called strike. That's a heavy dose of changeup, which a lot of the young Oriole hitters have been seeing a ton of. Splitters, changeups, a lot of off speed heading towards Dylan Beavers, Colton Cowser. The pitch, swing and a miss, chased an elevated fastball, and Beavers is down on strikes. Despite the 2 walks, Shane Smith walks the tightrope and fans the side. We're scoreless after our first half on the Orioles Radio Network.
Hi, this is Orioles Hall of Famer Mike Bordick. After 14 seasons in the majors and over 1,700 games, my body's sure been through.
First, it's 1-0 New York. Bouncer headed up the middle, and that's going to get through and drive in a couple of runs. Cranked up and sent into the right center field gap. McMahon's going to score easily. They're going to wave Wills around. Plays to third. 5-0 New York. Another one headed for no man's land, but Harrison Bader read it well. Former Gold Glover comes up to make a very nice catch for the guy they call Big G, who has driven in a run with the 3rd straight hit to open the 5th inning. Chopper for Jazz, hot shot, and he makes the catch. That got on there on a line, and he's telling Jose Caballero, "Did you see that?" I could watch Jazz Chisholm play. I mean, he plays with such joy. Only David Cohn, Ron Guidry, and Mel Stottlemyre had opening day starts of 6+ innings with 2 or fewer hits and no runs allowed.
Sunshine but chilly, frigid conditions on the south side of Chicago, bumping this game up before its Tuesday tilt between the White Sox and the Orioles, and giving the baseball to Trevor Rogers. Chase Maidroth, Lenin Sosa, Miguel Vargas in the top third to face the Birds left-hander, who's off to a 2-0 start this season. Scoreless after our first half inning, and now it's time for Rogers to go to work. Defense settles in behind him, and here's Chase Maidroth. Swings at the first pitch. It's a high in the air out to right field. Dylan Beavers has it lined up, and a one-hand snag. 1 down with 1 pitch, and that is a great start for the Orioles left-hander. Rogers is 28 years of age, on the hill at 6 feet 5 inches. Try to follow up what he did through the summer months and early fall with the Birds last season, and so far he has picked right up. Lenin Sosa, the batter. Right-hand hitter takes downstairs, ball 1. Sosa loudly coming into the season with 5 extra base hits. He's got some thump, too. Rogers to the plate, swinging a line drive, left field. Moving forward is Taylor Ward, charges in, and he makes the play. So a couple of very quick outs. Coming through the air, and Miguel Vargas comes to the plate. Can Trevor Rogers go to 3-0? Well, he would become the 3rd pitcher in the big leagues to do so. Milwaukee reliever Aaron Ashby is out of the gate 3-0. He's vultured victories. And last night, Jose Soriano was outstanding pitching for the Halos. Fastball from Rogers on the inside corner on Vargas, and it's 0-1. The Angels starter went 8 innings, a 1-run ball against Atlanta, and he struck out 10. It's been outstanding. Vargas backs away from a sweeper, 1 ball and 1 strike. How good has Jose Soriano been? Well, the Angels watched him shut out Houston and Chicago. Pitched by Rogers in tight. It's behind 2 balls and 1 strike. And then last night, he strikes out 10 Braves to go to 3-0. Rogers peers in, kicks and comes home with a 2-1. it's popped up through foul territory out beyond the Orioles' first base dugout. I think if you had a ticket to today's ball game, you've been invited to sit closer to the field. It looks like they've encouraged some fans that were scattered around to come into the expensive seats. And especially those that are really wise are seeking the sunshine. 2-2. Swinging a foul back. Battle continues between Rogers and Vargas. Automatically, you know that crowds are going to be lighter when you shift a game time as significantly as a start time going from a 7:40 Eastern first pitch up to a 3:10 Eastern. The 2-2. Curveball in there for strike three called. Vargas goes down looking. A punch out for Trevor Rogers, who quickly goes through the first 1-2-3. Off to the second. No score on the Orioles Radio Network.
Okay, where's the napkin?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Wow.
Well, always eager to help Pedro Martinez.
Oh, that's got to feel good. Oh, yeah. Sticky's good. By the way, 8 outs via the ground ball so far.
Long throw, Candelario across, got it to retire Amaya.
Going back to the wall and clear the deck. Cannonball coming. It's another Cruz missile. A 2-homer game for O'Neal Cruz.
There's 1-2 to Hoskins. His swung on and missed.
Well, not only has he been effective, but he has been efficient.
6 strikeouts for Ohtani.
And the 1-2 again. Swing and a miss. He got him. Got him with the slider. 8 strikeouts. You don't get this every day in a major league debut.
Fernandez hits a high fly ball deep to left field, and it's gone. He did it. The kid did it. That was his 4th major league at bat. He's homered in half of them.
Holy smokes, Trevor Rogers just doing it again. Doesn't matter if it looks like it's Independence Day or Christmas Eve. He was buzzing through the White Sox today with temperatures in the upper 30s. On 9 pitches, he quickly went through the first inning, delivering today's fast play of the game. Brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Play fast play home run riches from the Maryland Lottery all season long. No score. We start the second. Jeremiah Jackson looking out. Righty on righty with Shane Smith. Jackson takes down and away, ball 1. JJ went 1 for 3 in the lineup. Still looking for his first extra base hit. Another start at second base. He swings and misses, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. This was the start of Jeremiah Jackson's breakout when he traveled to the city of Chicago. Made his major league debut days prior, then was optioned back, but then came back quickly after the trade deadline. Jackson looks at a breaking ball in for a called strike, and it's 1-2. And then that would start really the first good test of playing time for Jeremiah Jackson. Outfield, second, third base, down the stretch for the Birds. 1-2. Just off the outside corner. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And it necessarily wasn't this ballpark. It was on the north side of Chicago where Jeremiah Jackson came back to stay. The 2-2 pitch. Check swing, did he go? They appealed to first. He did. He went around. And it's a strikeout for Smith, who's recorded all 4 outs in this ball game via the strikeout. Golden Cowser comes up. 0 for 3 in the series opener. Cowser started the season on a 4-game hit streak, but he has been searching for contact since. The pitch starts the square, pulls back, and takes a strike on the outside corner. There's a curveball, which if he sees something other than a splitter or a changeup, he's probably thankful, but at this point, that's been all he's seen. The 0-1, that's low. 1 ball and 1 strike. To the point where if you look at how Major League Baseball's qualified hitters are being pitched, He sees more splitters, more changeups than anybody in the game. 1-1. That's low.
In his last at bat last night, maybe on another night it gets out. Hit about 105 out to right center, and it was a really good discipline at bat. Maybe the best at bat of the season for Cowser.
The 2-1. Check swing. He went around, called by the home plate umpire, and it evens the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. I agree with you. That was the best plan that Colton Cowser had going to the plate, knowing that he was likely to see a heavy dose of the same category of pitches that he's been seeing now for the better part of a week. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Smith, who's fanned the first 2 here in the second. Speaking of home runs, Colton Cowser had a good bolt. Adley Rutschman had a good bolt. Andrew Benintendi for the White Sox also made loud contact that died right in front of the right field wall last night. It was cold. It was breezy, making an impact. Would they have gone out if the conditions were different? The atmosphere was different? Maybe. Instead, the result was a 2-1 Orioles victory. Kobe Mayo bats. 2 out, nobody on, a scoreless second. And he takes low and away, ball 1.
The wind was much more of a factor yesterday. Today it's colder. But yesterday that wind was really blowing left to right, and it impacted the game.
Mayo takes in tight. 2 balls and no strikes on Kobe. Today it is still breezy if you look at the flags off the pinwheels to the left and the right. But it shifted just enough to take the swirl out of the ballpark, in my opinion, especially from where we're at. Mayo takes low. Another 3-ball, no strike counter. Kobe batting 8th in the lineup today in front of Blaze Alexander. Smith peeks over the top of his black mitt. Kicks and comes home. Mayo taking on the 3-0. Will stay at the plate. Fastball in there for a called strike. Pitch. Down and away, ball 4. What are the 3 true outcomes in baseball? Strikeout, walks, home runs. 2 of the 3 we've watched here in the first 8 hitters. 5 strikeouts and 3 walks. Blaze Alexander steps in. The shortstop today for Baltimore. Good lead by Mayo at first. Smith to the plate. Alexander takes high at the hands. Ball 1. Throughout the course of spring training, the Orioles, without Gunnar Henderson being at camp, had a chance to audition a number of players at that shortstop position, Blaze Alexander included, because Baltimore knew you need to have a backup plan without Jackson Holliday at the start of the year to play short. The 1-0. That's downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes again. And the splits, once again, concerning for Shane Smith. 39 pitches, 18 balls from the right-hander. But he hasn't been hurt. Alexander got the nod, and then essentially he and Jeremiah Jackson won the gig. 2-0, whoa! That came up and in, and it looked like it glanced off of Alexander, and it did it. It hit his batting helmet. Another batter has been hit by Smith. He went ducking out of the way. The bat was still above his head. I thought it got the helmet. And the White Sox want to make sure it didn't hit the bat, too. They asked for a moment to go to the video replay room and see where Alexander had contact. He went ducking out of the way, and that ball went right off the crown of his batting helmet. Oh, what a scary situation unfolding here.
And the trainer, I think that's Scott Behringer, hard to tell because he's so bundled up. And Craig Albernez out there talking to Blaze Alexander. So right now, Smith has walked 3 and hit 1, and he has struck out 5. It's kind of like a Nuke Lelouch sort of game.
It really is. It's scary.
Well, they say it's just so hard to grip a baseball, especially with the strict rules on any foreign substance or any tacky substance when it's this cold. And it can be actually the feeling of a very slick ball, almost like it's icy, hard to grip.
First and second again for the Birds. Taylor Ward takes in the dirt, ball one.
And to be honest, when I always heard, and Buck Showalter used to talk about this all the time, that someone will get hurt in these April games if they don't allow some form of substance to grip the baseball.
Big leads on the bases, 2 down. Smith peeks back at second once, goes to the plate, and Ward takes a strike on the inside corner. Carroll jumped out of the crouch like he wanted to back pick with Sosa over at first, but he holds the rock. And that's exactly what it feels like in these kind of temperatures, these kind of conditions. The baseball feels like a rock. Even the laces seem to sink deeper into the baseball, like the pitchers are holding a cue ball. The 1-1, very high, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Last season, Shane Smith hit 12 batters last year. He's plunked his first. Very concerning moment, but Alexander's okay. He's at first base. Mayo in front of him, leading at second. The 2-1. Ward takes low and away. That was another poor miss by Shane Smith. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Orioles already with an 0 for 2 number with runners in scoring position. Another opportunity here early in this game.
3-1 coming, and a half swing by Ward. He went through. Mike Estabrook with a clenched fist pointing down at home plate. That'll bump the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes. That'll get Mayo and Alexander in motion. O's trying to break through early. Runners at the ready. They go. Here's the pitch, and it's low, ball 4. What else is new? 4 walks, a hit by pitch, and in this inning, without a base hit, the Orioles have loaded them. Mayo and Alexander into scoring position. Ward up the first baseline, and Gunnar Henderson's coming to the plate. And oh man, is Gunnar ever licking his chops. Bases loaded situation. The pitching coach on a quick jog out to the mound. A brief huddle, maybe for communication, maybe to share warmth. White Sox disperse. Here comes the Selma, Alabama native. Bases loaded for Henderson. Smith deals. Henderson swings and misses. He knew he wanted to throw a strike, and Henderson was ready to jump on top of it. Didn't make contact and starts in the hole 0-1. You'd hate for an opportunity to pass by with so many walks. The 0-1 fouled away at home plate, and it's 0-2 on Henderson. Gunnar was very aware of his recent struggles, and he told Ben McDonald, who asked him the question after the ballgame last night, what was different about the swing? And the retort from Gunnar Henderson was, well, I finally kept my head still. I felt like I was moving too much in the batter's box, selling myself short. I kept my head down on the ball, which goes back to baseball 101. Fundamentals. Anderson asked for time on a breezy day. Bases loaded. And the 0-2 pitch. Swinging a pop-up down the right field line, twisting towards foul ground, and over the screen, out of play. 0-2 still with Henderson. Club leader with 3 home runs. Having a nice road trip with a pair of those 3. 1 in Pittsburgh, and now 1 in Chicago. Smith had come set, now steps off. Bases still loaded here in the second. Sitting scoreless. Henderson trying to change it. The pitch. Swinging a line drive up the right field line, hooked foul. He covered that pitch offered by Smith. He's been all over the right-hander's stuff. 50 pitches already, nearly an even split. 27 strikes, 23 balls from Shane Smith. Bases loaded. And the pitch. Down and in. Good take by Gunnar. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mayo starts the rally with a 2-out walk. Alexander then, alarmingly, was struck by a pitch on the crown of his batting helmet. He's okay at second. Ward behind him with another walk. 1-2 coming. Popped up. Back our way and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Henderson. And a lengthy second inning of work. Only extends with this long battle between Henderson and Smith. Henderson fouling away for the last 5 pitches. The 1-2 again. Off the fist and out of play. There's another foul ball.
Well, Shane Smith is not long for this game. His stuff is really good. Looked like in those first 2 outings he was a little unlucky.
The sacks are packed. And a 1-2 to Henderson. Down in the dirt and a backhanded swat made by Caro. That keeps this game scoreless.
Yeah, Caro just saved a run.
Kobe Mayo being very aggressive with his secondary lead away from third base because they've shifted Murray, the rookie, way off the line and deep at third. So he's drifting well beyond the near line of the coach's box and foul ground. Doing it again. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and tap off foul at the plate. Just sheared a piece of it to stay alive.
It's a sparse crowd here at Rate Field, but it's a lively one. You have to give these fans a lot of credit. The game time has moved. It is really uncomfortable outside. Their team here has been lousy for years, and they brought a lot of energy to the ballpark today.
We're watching a 10-pitch at bat with Gunnar Henderson, who pops it up and out of play again. It'll go to an 11th.
And it seems like Gunner's aiming for us, Wags.
If the result eventually is a base hit in an Orioles lead, that's fine. I'll be the collateral damage. Pitch 11. Downstairs. And guess what? 3 balls and 2 strikes.
One at bat. Gunner lay off anything that's going to end up in the dirt. Not tempted on those. And he's fouled off all the tough pitches near the strike zone.
Already 11 pitches deep into the at-bat. He's seen 3 fastballs. Runners go. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Henderson, after all of that, goes into the glove. And somehow, some way, Shane Smith survives. He leaves the bases loaded. And we stay scoreless after an inning and a half on the Orioles Radio Network.
It is a 1933 Gaudy Babe Ruth card. It is 8.5 PSA. It's graded higher than the one in the Smithsonian.
This card at one point came with a pack or a stick of chewing gum.
This card actually is almost a century old. It was bought for a penny.
So the fact that just the heritage of a card like this is now coming up almost 90 years later into an auction, it's a pretty special moment.
Bader going back, still going back at the wall. Bader makes a catch right up against the wall. And Harrison Bader, very nice play.
Thomas races back toward the track, leaps, he makes the catch. He tumbles to the warning track dirt right in front of the shorter right field fence, and he hung on for the out. A terrific grab from Lane Thomas in deep right field. Scalds it out towards left center field. Long run, Thomas. Can he reach it? Oh, he can! Yes, he can! What a sliding grab by Alec Thomas. That is hit high and deep to left field. It took a long time, but there's the first major league home run for Jordan Lawler.
There is no stopping that young man.
Susak is 3 for 3 in his first big league start. They're just losing their minds over there, thinking, yeah, our kid can hit.
Birdland cheer on the Orioles on Saturday, April the 11th against the Giants. Be one of the first 15,000 fans to receive a Jackson Holiday and Coconut bobblehead. Buy your tickets now at Orioles.com/tickets. Yeah, we're coming home after the ballgame tomorrow.
First road trip of the year started in Pittsburgh. Orioles now playing in Chicago, scoreless, last of the second inning. Lefty on lefty with Colson Montgomery at the plate, and he takes a called strike from Trevor Rogers. 10th pitch of this outing for Trevor Rogers. Stark contrast to his counterpart. Lefty to work. Missed outside with a sweeper. 1 ball and 1 strike. Already in this ballgame, Shane Smith has been walking the tightrope. 4 walks, a hit batter through 2 innings, but somehow hasn't allowed a hit or a run. The pitch. Sweeper down and away. Check swing by the rookie. On the appeal to third, he didn't go around. But 58 pitches in 2 innings for Shane Smith. Rogers looks in, and the 2-1 pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Colson Montgomery, part of this next wave of White Sox, working their way to the big leagues. 0 for 4 in the series opener, and had a pivotal at bat late last night. It might have changed the game if it wasn't for the defense from Pete Alonso, diving on top of the first base line and preventing 1, maybe 2 runs. 2-2, swing and a miss. He's down on strikes going after the sweeper. Second strikeout for Rogers. 1 up and 1 down here in the second. Edgar Caro, the batter. Turned 23 years young yesterday. Rogers to the plate. Changeup, swing and a miss. Tanner Murray out on deck. 4, 5, and 6 coming up for the White Sox. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. Carroll saw lefties really well last year. Pops up the 0-2. Routine fly ball. Bieber's in right field. Trots in. Underneath it all alone. Makes the play. That's 5 up and 5 down against Trevor Rogers. Orioles have a getaway day tomorrow to close up the road trip. They're off on Thursday before bringing the San Francisco Giants to town on Friday night. Kyle Bradish on the bump tomorrow. We'll have the broadcast beginning at 1:35 Eastern, a 2:10 first pitch, as Sean Burke and Kyle Bradish will battle. Here's Tanner Murray starting to drop the bunt, pulled back, and looks downstairs. But a called strike. The whole plate umpire, Mike Estabrook. Murray comes to the south side from Tampa Bay, part of a 4-player deal. Breaking ball, rides high. 1 ball and 1 strike on Murray. Pulled up from AAA Charlotte over the weekend and made his Major League debut against the Blue Jays on Sunday. Swings at the 1-1, hits it high in the air, right center field. Cowser along with Beavers into the alley. From right field, there's Beavers. He hauls in out number 3. More perfect work from Trevor Rogers. What else is new? 6 up and 6 down. 2 complete here on the south side. We're scoreless on the Orioles Radio Network.
Hi, this is Orioles Hall of Fame.
How does one of baseball's most celebrated plays connect to one of baseball's most notorious curses? Through a cross-country move, an earthquake, and the Men of Steel? Find out on Hall of Fame Connections.
It was a defensive play so iconic that we simply call it the catch.
This is the glove Willie Mays had when he made that catch. This is great.
But let me touch it for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oakland pitcher Dave Stewart was named the World Series MVP.
It really comes from like the kings of Siam would give their courtiers white elephants, which were sacred animals, and they'd be too expensive again to maintain. Would put them into financial ruin.
They need to know this story. That's amazing.
Nobody could steal a base like Ricky.
I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you.
So imagine making steals in these stuff.
So these are Thai Cubs.
These are Thai Cubs.
So what I want to know is, were they ever swabbed for the DNA of opposing pitchers?
Roberts is no stranger to stolen bases himself.
That's what makes it special, is that everybody knew he was going to steal.
Roberts is going. Safe.
You know what they say?
One great play deserves another.
Catch every episode of Hall of Fame Connections on MLB.tv and discover your own connections to the game at baseballhall.org.
Chilly day on the south side of Chicago. We've got sunshine. We've got breezy conditions as well. But if you're in the sunshine, a lot more comfortable to enjoy today's Game 2 between these two clubs. White Sox and Orioles sitting scoreless as we go to the third. And welcome back to the play-by-play story from Brett Hollander.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Pete Alonso leading off for the Orioles against the right-hander Shane Smith. The cold temperatures, the game of the time change with the game today, originally scheduled for 6:40 local time, started at 2:10 as Alonso takes a breaking ball strike from Smith, 0-1. That allows us to indulge tonight and have some deep dish Chicago pizza. And you wisely and aggressively made a reservation already. Alonso takes one down, 1-1.
We got the alert from the Baltimore Orioles and the Chicago White Sox that the game time was going to shift, and my fingers started working.
It's been a good eating trip. Why stop now? A high-calorie trip. Down and away to Alonso. 2-1 to Pete. So where are we going tonight?
We're going to Pequod's. Get some deep dish pizza.
I've always been a Lou Malnati's guy. You know me, I'm very loyal.
Well, there's Lou's, there's Chino's.
The pitch. Alonso cracks it to third base. Backhanded there by Murray. Long throw across the diamond in plenty of time to get Pete Alonso one out, but that was it very sharply to third base. And for Shane Smith, he gets an all-important out. And an out not by strikeout, amazingly. One down the top of the third in a scoreless game. Until then, Smith had recorded all 6 outs by strikeout. Plus 3 walks, and he's hit a batter. That's low for a ball to Samuel Basayo, and it's 1-0. Basayo foul tips this at home plate, caught by the catcher Caro. And it's 1-1 to Basayo. Yeah, it's been a weird outing for Smith, who's off to a rough start this year. After being an all-star a year ago and the team's opening day starter this season. He was one of the really good stories for the White Sox last year, time is called. But he entered this inning with a pitch count of 58. Meanwhile, Trevor Rogers is at just 20. This is a rocket off the pitcher. He recovers around third base, and he has no play, and he is in some kind of pain. A rocket back to the mound, and that's going to be an infield hit for Basayo. And now Will Venable, the manager of the White Sox and their trainer, will come out to the mound to check on the right-hander. He had absolutely no time on this bitterly cold day to react to that. It was a change-up. The question is, where did it get him? I think right in the backside, maybe in the upper hamstring area. He finished his follow-through with his back turned, and then the ball got on him in an instant. And then it caromed almost to third base.
Very similar to what we saw on Sunday when Chris Bassett was on the mound. O'Neal Cruz hit a 111 mile an hour one hopper off the lower leg of Chris Bassett. It got him just on the inside of his knee as he was doing the same thing, following through and then trying to get out of the way. But you can't react at a ball coming back that quickly and that hard. This was headed back towards Smith at 108 miles an hour. So nearly identical in this scenario.
That is scary. Basayo, the king of the hard contact, and he gets a much-needed hit as Smith will begin throwing to his catcher, Edgar Caro, to see if he can stay in this game. And then you have to think on a day like this, Wags, where it's so cold, how much more that stings. And I think he's going to stay in this game. Some serious toughness for the right-hander, Shane Smith. So Basayo on base. That's the first hit of the ball game. The Orioles have left 5. For those 5, either by walk or hit by pitch, reach base. And so far, here in the third, the Orioles have had some hard contact. First Alonso and then Basayo. And now Beavers will bat. Came in 7 for his last 17. Swinging it pretty well. Beavers fouls his back behind on plate. 0-1 to Dylan Beavers, who's starting in right field today for Craig Albernaz. Shane Smith, who is used to this, grew up in Danvers, Massachusetts. Just like Craig Albernaz, a New England guy. Swing and a miss. Beavers couldn't get to the high heat. He's down in the count, 0-2. Albie said before the game he couldn't tell you how cold was the coldest game he ever played in growing up. But obviously baseball in the Northeast, March and April, you're going to have some really cold ones. Basayo leads from first. Here's the pitch. Beavers tries to check his swing on a ball that's down, and he did. Said Malachi Moore, the third base umpire on the appeal. Didn't say the actual temperature, but he knows before a game, during study hall, he had to go out and actually shovel snow to play off of his high school field. That's commitment to playing baseball in the Northeast. 1-2 to Beavers. He taps it foul. He just got a piece of that to stay alive.
Great use of his study hall, too. Get out there, chip away the ice on the field of play. But I also like the follow-up, too, because as he reminded everybody in the clubhouse, if you want to play in deep October, guess what? It's going to be cold, too.
1-2 to Beavers. Basayo on at first in a scoreless game. Right on left in the pitch. Fouled right back towards us, but hit the backstop. It remains 1-2. And right now, the Orioles are really making Shane Smith work. A lineup today loaded with lefties for the Orioles. And that's smart because Smith, who allowed 17 home runs all last year, 13 of them to left-handed batters. Beavers lays off a pretty good curveball. And now the count is 2-2. With Jeremiah Jackson on deck. Basayo, a very small lead at first. The pitch. Beavers takes it right down the middle for strike 3. Had to be guessing there. That was 96 down the middle. Another strikeout for Smith, and they're 2 away. His 7th punch out already. And here's Jeremiah Jackson. Basayo still on at first. And now there are 2 outs. No score, top of the third. Middle game of 3. The pitch. Jeremiah Jackson reaches for this and fouls it out of play off to the right. 0-1 to Jeremiah Jackson. Playing a lot to begin this season. We'll see what happens when Jackson Holiday returns from that hamate bone injury. The 0-1. Jeremiah Jackson went on a curveball that was nasty. He tried to check his swing. They appealed to first base, and Willie Traynor there, the umpire says, yeah, Jeremiah went. So Jackson very quickly down in the count, 0-2. The pitch. Swing and a foul tip, and it's going to be held onto by the catcher, Caro. No, they're saying no. They're saying that hit the dirt. It looked like it could have been strike 3. It was foul tipped.
He turned around trying to sell it. Montgomery and Murray were walking off the left side of the diamond.
Mike Estabrook says no. So Jackson is still alive. It's very close. Still 0-2 though. The pitch. Jeremiah Jackson takes a ball, and there's going to be a challenge.
The catcher is challenging the pitch.
A challenge by the catcher, Caro. So it's either strike 3 or 1-2, and that's a ball. Estabrook had it right, and the White Sox are down a challenge. Well, I guess the calculus there is you're trying to get Shane Smith back in the dugout after a couple of very laborious innings for him. Jeremiah Jackson with 2 gifts. He's still alive. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Tied him up with a fastball. Another punch out for Shane Smith. He now has 8 through 3 and still no scores. We go to the bottom of the third on the Orioles Radio Network.
Anytime we can put on these uniforms, the same ones that those guys played before us in the Negro Leagues, it's an honor to put it on and to share this field with them.
It's a piece of history. So, I mean, to be able to wear it present day is honestly an unreal feeling. Once the lights are on and the anthem takes place and you're standing there on the line, it'll sink in as to what this moment really means, because I do think it's a meaningful day.
So this is MLB Network Talent Stars.
Okay.
The stars of MLB Network. Can I trade a pack of these for a signed Lawrence Shahadi
How
card?
about we do a little bit of both? Money, a little trade.
Will you open it up and see if you like it?
They're really nice.
If I sign it, does that equal the Lawrence Shahadi 20?
All right.
Do we have a good trade?
We have a good trade. Thank you so much. That was fun.
Nice doing business with you.
Hey, fans, 2026 Birdland memberships are available right now, starting at $300 for 16 games. Get the ultimate flexibility, swap out games. Get guaranteed giveaways, access to $12 parking, concessions, merchandise discounts, and so much more. A Birdland membership is a popular way to secure the best seats at the best value. Learn more at Orioles.com/memberships.
Thank you, Ben. Trevor Rogers has breezed through the first 2 innings. He's gone 6 up, 6 down on 20 pitches. Andrew Benintendi takes a ball up and in. 1-0 to Benintendi. Bottom third of the White Sox order due up. No score. Bottom 3 here on the south side. Rogers, the lefty, comes home. There's a strike on the outside corner with a sweeper, and it's 1-1. Well, the White Sox down to 1 challenge. That probably allows Rogers to expand the zone a little bit. The pitch, outside for a ball. 2-1 to the veteran Andrew Benintendi. This White Sox lineup today, and this is a much improved ball club, and it looks like they actually have a clear direction here in Chicago now. The pitch, low, 3-1 to Benintendi. And we're talking about a team that really hit a different kind of rock bottom a few years ago. 2024, the pitch, fouled at home plate off of Benintendi. He's going to need some time to walk that off. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID on the Orioles Radio Network. Ben Wagner with you, Rick Betancourt here in the visiting radio booth at Rate Field, Chicago, Illinois. Baseball on the radio here. Ryan Leschko back high atop Television Hill, the 3-2. This one up and in to Benintendi, who hits the deck. Did that get him? They're calling it a strike 3, swing and a miss. That thing went right at him, and he swung at it. That's a strikeout for Rogers, and an out recorded. I don't know if that was a swing to defend himself, or he was just so fooled by the pitch. It was a 2-seamer, and it was aiming right for him. And it did hit him. It hit him in the front shoulder, and he swung and had a complete swing on that. You don't see that every day. And that's a strikeout for Rogers, as Luis Angel Acuna fouls it out of play off to the right, 0-1.
I don't know that I've ever seen a batter swing at a pitch that hits them above the waist. I've seen guys chase stuff boring down in ankles and knees.
In the dirt for a ball, 1-1.
But to be shoulder high on a sinker.
You've seen some accidental swings on balls that are on the inner half of the plate I remember Colton Cowser struck out and was hit by a pitch in a playoff game in 24. Wave and a miss. Nasty sweeper that time by Rogers. Right now, he's really mixing well. It's 1-2. But that was essentially a full swing on something hard that was right up and in. This is fouled away off to the right. It remains 1-2. You don't see that every day, but we saw a few things yesterday that were unusual. Talking about the White Sox, 41-121, a .253 winning percentage in 24. The pitch, line drive, floating down the left field line, foul. And we'll do it again. They finished in 2024, 51.5 games back of Cleveland in the American League Central. Most losses in a 162-game campaign. More losses than the Mets. But a better winning percentage. The Mets played in 2 less games in their first season in 1962. The pitch, that's low. 2-2 to Acuna. They lost 101 games in 23. Last year, a huge improvement. They still lost 102 games and finished in last place. A pop-up, shallow right. Beavers coming on in short right field. Near the foul line, he makes the catch. 2 down. They had to pivot hard. They felt they had built a core group, and a group that was successful in the COVID-shortened season of 2020, made the playoffs, and then in 21, won 93 games and won the division. It's not that long ago. Breaking ball in there for a strike to Derek Hill, 0-1. They had locked up all these highly touted young prospects, and everyone said, how great are the Chicago White Sox? Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, Yohan Moncada. Hill squares around a bunt, pulls back, takes a strike. 0-2. They went on, spent a lot of money on a bunch of different players, Benintendi included, and it just didn't work. It looked like the arrow was pointed not just north, but how high can they go? That group in 21 won 93 games. They were just starting out. The pitch. A line drive into right field, a base hit. Off the bat of Hill, down 2 strikes. And he's the first base runner for Chicago in the bottom of the third of a scoreless game. You know, a lot of times, everyone wants you to lock up all these young players, but it can backfire. And the best example of that is this White Sox team, and they didn't just have to blow it up. They had to completely start over, and they're just crawling out of it perhaps now. But this lineup today, with no Hayes and no Murakami, not a lot of track record as a strike is poured down the middle to Chase Mydroth, 0-1. Rogers now at 37 pitches. The White Sox, this is their 126th season of Major League Baseball. Toss over to first. Hill runs well, but he's back easily. This franchise started in 1901. And, of course, a historically long World Series drought from the Black Sox scandal to the 2005 ball club that won the championship. Fisted behind home plate foul. 0-2 to Mydroth. In fact, that team in 05, led by Ozzie Guillen, who had a great career here, both as a player and a manager. It was announced a few days ago that his number will be retired for all time here. No score, bottom of the third. Rogers dealing ahead. The 0-2. In the air to left field. Ward is on the run, and he dives, and he can't make the play. It lands in front of him. Hill being sent in from third base, and he will score standing. It's 1-0 Chicago on a bloop base hit. Mydroth ends up at second base. I think Ward got a late jump on it, perhaps a bad read, and then was completely caught in between. He didn't know whether to dive for it or play it on one bounce, and he kind of got caught in between, and that's what allowed the run to score. I mean, he went into a dive, and it was 4 feet in front of him. And then he tried to block the ball with his body.
And then when he went to get up, he had a burnout trying to get on all fours. And that's when the third base coach, Jersley, started the wheel.
Give Mydroth an RBI and a strike here to Lenin Sosa 0-1. Couple of soft singles for Chicago with 2 outs and 2 strikes on both batters in the bottom of the third to grab a lead. Left on right here. Swing and a miss. Again, Rogers ahead, 0-2.
And the advantage for Chicago, 2 down in the inning. So Derek Hill, who has good speed, running on contact to begin with. And then the decision coming from the third base coach's box. But after Ward had that false start trying to track down the baseball, after smothering it, got him to the plate easily.
Sosa hits a ground ball foul by the Camberwell past the White Sox dugout. It remains 0-2. Yeah, Rogers got ahead of the number 9 batter Hill. He hits a single into right. He gets ahead 0-2 on Mydroth, who then bloops a double into left. Perhaps misplayed by Ward, at least to allow an extra base or 2. This is hit foul down the right field line. It remains 0-2. That was a pretty good fastball by Rogers at 94. I don't think Ward had any chance to get to that ball. It was perfectly placed by Mydroth. But the bounce allowed for the runner to score from first with, as you said, Ben, 2 outs. The pitch. This is hit sharply foul out of play off to our right. And it remains 0-2. This is the first time that Rogers has had to deal with any traffic. He started this game retiring the first 8 Chicago batters. And now Basayo out to talk to the veteran left-hander. That ball came up almost like a goalie. Ward tried to block it, and it went right over his shoulder. He may have even clipped his beard. Mydroth runs well. He leads from second. The pitch. In the dirt. Blocked by Basayo. It's 1-2. Rogers just trying to finish off Chicago in the bottom of the third. He's at 45 pitches on this chilly day on the south side. Rogers from the stretch. The pitch. Inside corner, called a ball, but Basayo's going to challenge.
The catcher is challenging the pitch.
Mike Estherbrook saying that Basayo is called for the challenge, and Basayo is wrong.
The pitch is the ball.
Pitch is low. So the Orioles lose a challenge. The count will remain 2-2. Both teams down 1 challenge in the early going here. The pitch by Rogers. Looped, shallow center, long run for Cowser. Coming on, he can't get to it. It bloops in front of him, and another run will score. 2-0 Chicago on 3 bloop hits with 2 outs in the third. He had a long run for that, and Cowser couldn't get to it. Ever so gently placed in short center. And now Drew French, the Orioles pitching coach, will come out to talk to Trevor Rogers. And all of these hits have come with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Give Sosa an RBI, and the White Sox have a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the third. Entire Orioles infield congregating around Trevor Rogers. It's time for the Johns Hopkins Medicine out-of-town scoreboard. And today, daytime baseball, Mets at Citi Field against the Diamondbacks. No score. That game just underway in the top of the first. That's the only other game going on right now in baseball. The pitch. A ball 1-0. That's the Johns Hopkins Medicine out-of-town scoreboard, bringing together the best of cardiology and cardiac surgery to provide high-quality patient care. The Johns Hopkins Heart and Vascular Institute is with you every beat of the way. The 1-0. Swing and a miss by Vargas. It's 1-1. Learn more at hopkinsmedicine.org/heart. Well, I can tell you the Red Sox lost again last night. What's their record, Wags? 2-8. Blue Jays lost another. Got pounded by the Dodgers north of the border. The 1-1. Up and away for a ball, 2-1. The Rays, in their first game back at Tropicana Field in what feels like forever, had a big win. Brian Baker, the former Oriole, got the save.
A lot of emotion from that community, dealing with the tragic events of the two hurricanes, losing their baseball park, and a year rebuild.
Hopped up, right side, foul territory. Alonso over, hoping for room, along the railing, reaching over, right at the camera well. He makes the catch. Side retired. But a two-out rally of soft singles gives Chicago a 2-0 lead after 3. It will go to the 4th here on the south side. 2-0 White Sox on the Orioles Radio Network. It is 2-0 White Sox. Orioles trailing in this game as they come to bat. The 4th inning is brought to you by Toyota. Shop Toyota for legendary style and reliability, starting with the all-new RAV4. Shop Toyota.com for details and deals on your favorite Toyota. Let's go places. Well, the Orioles had Shane Smith on the ropes a few times, and they couldn't cash in. And then, out of nowhere, the White Sox very innocently had a 2-strike, 2-out base hit by the number 9 batter, and then they would go from there to put up 2 runs. So they lead this game 2-0 as Cowser takes one low, 1-0. Smith near the end of the line. He's already at 78 pitches. A strike there to Colton, a changeup, and it's 1-1. The Orioles through 3 have already left on 6. And the White Sox have had so few base runners, and they have 2 runs. A strike there to Cowser, a curveball that time, and it's 1-2. Colton struck out against Smith his first time up. Cowser, Mayo, and Alexander do up for Baltimore in the top of the 4th. Colton lays off a 4-seamer that missed outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And there's action in the Chicago bullpen. The lefty, Sean Newcomb, getting loose. The pitch. Colton takes one that's just off the plate in, and now the count is full, 3-2. Shane Smith. The pitch. Ground ball, back to the mound, bobbled by Smith. He'll have a long underhand to first, and he beats Cowser there by a few steps. Colton retired on the 1-3 ground out. That was bobbled by Smith.
Bobbled by Smith, and then he elects to do that long underhand. That chewed up a ton of time, and with Cowser's speed, that became a lot closer than what it should have been.
Yeah, I agree. 1 out, bases empty. Here's Mayo. Up and in for a ball. 1-0. Mayo walked his first time up. The pitch. A strike at the top of the zone with a high curve, 1-1. Just a really weird outing for Smith, who's off to a bad start by the numbers this year, but again, was an all-star a year ago, and there's a lot of evidence to say that he's been a little unlucky to begin this season. Breaking ball in the inside corner for a strike, 1-2. His day-to-day, a little bit of everything. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of walks. He's hit a batter. 1-2 to Mayo. Slow tapper back to the mound. Smith has it again. He'll walk towards the mound. Another underhand flip, and Mayo's retired. 2 outs, bases empty in the top of the fourth. Smith with 4 walks allowed and 8 strikeouts. He's given up just 1 hit, and it actually was hit off of him. Literally a 108-mile-per-hour comebacker off the bat of Basayo that ended up being an infield hit. Blaze Alexander takes a ball way outside, and it's 1-0. So the Orioles will need to hit that comeback trail to win today. The 1-0. Blaze shoots it foul, third base side. Past Buck Britton at third base. 1-1. Up and in to Alexander. 2-1. With the top of the order and Taylor Ward on deck. Shane Smith works from the windup. His pitch. Swing and a foul ball. Back of home plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Alexander. He was the hit by pitch. That happened in the second inning. It got him off the helmet. Scary situation. Stayed in the game. Alexander starting today at shortstop for the first time this season. The 2-2. He hits it foul out of play off to the right. We were talking with Albie about the versatility of Blaze Alexander, and you just know he would do anything if asked, including being an emergency catcher. He's also athletic enough to do it. In the big leagues, he's played third, second, short, left field, center field. The pitch. Hit sharply to third base, and it's booted at third by Murray, and Alexander will reach. Should be an E5 on Murray, the third baseman. It was hit sharply, but right to him. And that will extend the top of the fourth for Taylor Ward. It is an error. We were talking about this with Miguel Cairo. Is it harder to play defense or hit on a day like this? And he said hitting, but both are very difficult. Ward takes a strike on the inside corner, and it's 0-1. Cairo playing the big leagues forever, now an Orioles coach. He said he played a playoff game with the Phillies in Denver in 2009. Said it was about 26 degrees. Outside for a ball, 1-1. And the day before that game was a snow out in October of 2009. This might be the last batter for Smith with the lefty Warming and the lefty Henderson on deck. The pitch. Ward takes it down and away for a ball, 2-1. Ward 0 for 1. He has walked in this game. The shadows beginning to creep towards home plate. Alexander runs well. He's at first base. The pitch. Strike. Curveball over, 2-2. Taylor Ward, his at-bat so far been so impressive. The 2-2. That skips in. They throw back of Alexander, and it skips past the first baseman. Alexander takes off for second base, and he'll make it there standing. Well, out of the Orioles book, Edgar Caro, with 2 outs, throws back of the base runner at first, and Lenin Sosa couldn't handle it, and it caromed off his glove into shallow right. Heads up base running by Blaze Alexander. He got to second base after sliding back to first. He's in scoring position on an E2. And it's 3-2 to the batter, Ward. The pitch. Inside for ball 4. A very close pitch. Ward will walk for a second time today. First and second with 2 outs. And that will do it for Shane Smith, now at 99 pitches. The Orioles have left base runners on in every inning. 2 in the first, 3 in the second, 1 in the third. They have 2 on right now as Smith leaves this game. Pitching change on the south side. Orioles down 2-0 on the Orioles Radio Network.
Hey, Maryland, need a simple way.
And it'll be Sweeney backpedaling, and he can't make the play. And there goes the no-hitter. Rolling, does it go fair? Yes, it does. That's a fair ball.
Oh, she's giving it to him. They're up 6-1 in the 8th. She's giving it to him and making him like it.
Doing the pop-up dance, and he dropped it. You don't see that very often.
Abrams is going to think about going to third. The throw too high there. Abrams dives back in. Tag applied this time by Riley. What just happened?
Jim Thorpe's resume reads like a work of pure fiction.
So he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He got Olympic medals for the decathlon and the pentathlon.
He's the greatest at
I thought I was an athlete, Lindsay.
Thorpe finished his Major League Baseball career with the Boston Braves in 1919, where he played alongside an outfielder named Les Mann.
He invented this particular projector.
And this is not all he's done, right?
He started championing to get baseball into the Olympics. He finally succeeded for the 1936 Olympics, which was held in Berlin.
The German government had discouraged other nations from sending Jewish and black athletes.
We sent over Jesse Owens, and we sent over Mac Robinson, Jackie Robinson's older brother.
Trailblazers like Thorpe and Robinson certainly lit the way for countless others to follow.
Go to baseballhall.org to plan your visit to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown, New York, and catch every episode of Hall of Fame Connections on MLB.tv.
This call to bullpen is brought to you by the auto loan experts at Point Breeze Credit Union, celebrating 90 years in your neighborhood. The veteran lefty, Sean Newcomb, into this game to face Gunnar Henderson. First and second with 2 outs. It's 2-0 Chicago. Henderson came up with the bases loaded already once today. Gunnar rockets this, and it's back in at first base by Sosa. Play at first place. Their call is out. Out at first base as Henderson went into a dive at the bag. The Orioles want to look, and it will be a very complicated finish. The Orioles are going to challenge. Henderson is clapping his hands, and you hope Henderson's okay. He went into a headlong dive at first, which you should never do. And they're going to challenge this, and it might count as a run. Alexander, they're going to have to figure this out. First, as we look at the replay, and Henderson, I think, is safe. I think his left hand beat Newcomb to the bag at first. Sosa made a great play at the bag, and I'm pretty confident Henderson beat that play at first base.
Baltimore is challenging
which
the
would make it an
outball at
infield
first base.
hit. But where they place Alexander is going to be very complicated. First and second, running with 2 outs. He has touched home, and he is now standing next to the Orioles' dugout. They might put him back at third base, though. And right now, Craig Albert is already out to talk about it with home plate umpire Mike Estabrook. Where does Blaze Alexander go? But they're reviewing this play at first. It was a bang-bang play.
Mixed reaction from the crowd down below as they watch a couple of different views on the video board. Some cheering, some groans. A lot of people questioning, probably like New York is right now, too. Henderson's furthest hand was the one on the outside through foul territory. The right hand as he was going for the outside of first base with his left hand.
We have our answer. We cannot hear the umpire at first. And it is a safe call. We're getting that from Lance Barrett. And now I couldn't hear what the direction was for Blaze Alexander. He's not going back to third base right now. So it's either bases loaded with 2 outs, or it's first and second with 2 outs and a run in for Baltimore.
Mike Estabrook, the home plate umpire, summoned Craig Albernaz out and pointed to the dugout to get Alexander out of the dugout, and he is jogging up the third baseline right now. So they will place him back on the bases.
So you have Alexander at third, Ward at second, Henderson, the trail runner who runs well at first. The Orioles have already left him loaded once. That was in the second, and now the polar bear on this frigid day in Chicago will bat. Left on right. The pitch. Alonso takes a breaking ball strike from Sean Newcomb on 1. I think that's the right call, because Alexander scored as the play was being looked at. He would have stopped at third base more than likely. The 0-1. Alonso takes a ball, a very close pitch, a two-seamer, called a ball, and it's 1-1. Newcomb was on the Red Sox to begin last season and actually started opening day in Baltimore against Cade Povich. The pitch. Pete hits a cue shot foul off to the right. 1-2 to Alonso. Looking for a big moment in the early stages of his Baltimore career. They're loaded with fairly good speed out there, and Pete wants time. Now the Shadows getting close to home plate. Baltimore down a couple, but another big threat. Here's the pitch. Alonso hits a slow roller to the left side, picked up at short by Montgomery, on to first, and that's an out. A jam shot roller to short, and for the second time today, the Orioles leave him loaded. They have stranded 9 through 4 trips to the plate already today. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th here at Rate Field.
What is it about baseball cards that make them so special? Why do you enjoy doing that?
Well, the biggest thing is I started collecting when I was a kid. O-Pee-Chee was a Canadian hockey league, and then the Canadian football. But I didn't start in the U.S. until I had signed professionally as a ball player. And when I got my first rookie card, and I've got it here with me.
Let's take a peek at that.
1966 with Billy Sorrell.
Rays now chasing a 2-1 deficit as Johnny DeLuca comes up.
Hey, there's a shot. Well tagged off the bat of DeLuca. That baby is gone. And the Rays tie this on one swing of the bat from Johnny DeLuca. A rocket shot. Sounded good, looked even better.
That cleared the bullpens and went up to the second deck.
438 feet, longest shot for DeLuca in his career.
Not a smidge of doubt. That ball was absolutely mashed.
Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
HBCU night is coming to Baltimore. Join the Orioles on Friday, April the 24th, as the Red Sox take on the Birds during HBCU and Divine Nine Night. Grab a special ticket package and score a limited edition bucket hat. While doing so, groups of 15 or more save. Get tickets right now, Orioles.com/ticket packages.
That's Ben. I'm Brett. Baseball on the radio from Chicago as Rogers gets a heater right by Colson Montgomery, and that's how the bottom of the 4th begins. Rogers has been in the dugout for long periods of time with long innings by the Orioles offense that has netted 0 runs. Foul ball back by home plate, nothing in 2. I mean, the Orioles, and they haven't hit a whole lot today. They only have 2 hits. Have left on 9 through 4. That is a big number. A couple of errors by the White Sox. A lot of walks, a hit by pitch. Right now, Basayo's having a communications issue with his pitch comms. I think he needs to get a new receiver. He'll get one from Ryan Klimek out of the Orioles dugout. 0-2 to the batter. Rogers at 53 pitches in the bottom of the 4th. Wags, you've called baseball in your career for a long, long time. What's the coldest game you've ever called?
There was a ball game in Buffalo that was in the 20s. 29 degrees. I think at first pitch, it was windy, gray, and there were flurries by the end of the day, too.
Opening day-ish in Buffalo?
April-ish.
The 0-2, up and away for a ball, 1-2.
But much like Chicago, I mean, there are a number of cities like Cleveland, like Detroit. If you're close to the water, the temperature just stays colder longer because there's so much ice on the lakes.
1-2 to Montgomery. That changeup just missed. A left-on-left changeup, 2-2.
And I found, even during the daytime when the sun is out, if you can find some sunlight, it's nice and warm. But when the sun goes down and the wind picks up, the wind coming off the water is frigid.
Sweeper down the way. That's a ball. 3-2. The count now full. Now, that pitch that was called a ball was, in fact, a strike. But Basayo hesitant to challenge because he's already lost one today. Now you really have to be 100% certain. So that cost Rogers a strike. The 3-2. Down the middle for strike 3. A two-seamer that ran back over. A punch-out for Rogers, one away in the bottom of the fourth. If you grew up in the Mid-Atlantic or Northeast or Midwest, we all have baseball March and April stories. I always said that it would be nice if the baseball season was in the fall. That's much more pleasant. Jam shot, foul ball, back of home plate. 0-1. Of course, I was one of those nerds, Wags, that would call weather. I was so excited for my Little League days. You know, back in the time before phones where you could look it up. This is it high and deep in the air to left field. Ward is back to the gap in left center. The ballpark's going to hold it. And he makes the catch in deep left center field. And that is out number 2 as Caro's retired. Yeah, I had to know days in advance. I know this will sound a lot like me. But I had to have a plan, and I had to know we were going to play. Couldn't stand any rain-canceled game. It was the worst.
I'm stunned to learn this.
Yes.
Just stunned.
I never look ahead at the weather or anything else. 2 out, space is empty. Tanner Murray takes a strike on the inside corner. 0-1. I did once a Ravens pregame show. This is down and in for a ball, 1-1, where we were supposed to do it on site at M&T Bank Stadium, and our general manager at the time, because it was a big set, decided to pull the plug on that because they thought it was dangerous. There was too much snow. Outside for a ball, 2-1. So I did that pregame show with my colleague at Pete Gilbert from the station, and then we hustled down, got there right around kickoff. And it was actually this amazing back-and-forth game against the Vikings in a great snowstorm in Baltimore. Fastball's outside, 3-1 to Murray. Nothing like a good sports weather story. Last year, Rogers, I remember he went on a run as the 3-1 pitch comes home. Down the left field line, hooky in the corner, and that will be foul against the netting down the line. Pretty good contact there by Murray. And the count's now full, 3-2. Last year, Rogers went on a run. I remember talking to him about this. 2 games outdoors in the middle of the summer in Tampa, Florida. A game in July against the Braves in Atlanta. And it was like a run of 4 or 5 starts where it was upper 80s or 90s. A few in Baltimore that were just those classic Baltimore summer days and nights. Sweltering Camden Yards heat. The 3-2. Ground ball hit to shortstop. Blaze Alexander waits for it. Fires to first base in time. And that's a 1-2-3 fourth for Trevor Rogers. We are 4 complete here at Rate Field. It's 2-0 White Sox as we go to the 5th on the Orioles Radio Network.
Bader going back, still going back at the wall. Bader makes the catch right up against the wall. And Harrison Bader, very nice play.
Thomas races back toward the track, leaps, he makes the catch! He tumbles to the warning track dirt right in front of the shorter right field fence, and he hung on for the out. A terrific grab from Lane Thomas in deep right field.
Scalds it out towards left center field. Long run, Thomas. Can he reach it? Oh, he can! Yes, he can! What a sliding grab by Alec Thomas. That is hit high and deep to left field. It took a long time, but there's the first Major League home run for Jordan Lawler.
There is no stopping that young man.
Susac is 3 for 3 in his first big league start. They're just losing their minds over there, thinking, yeah, our kid can hit.
Orioles have stranded 9 through 4. Now into the White Sox bullpen, down 2-0 here in the fifth. Let's send it back to Ben Wagner.
All right, thanks a lot, Brett Hollander, Samuel Basayo, Dylan Beavers, Jeremiah Jackson coming up against Sean Newcomb, the lefty, in relief of Shane Smith, who walked the tightrope but still pitched a one-hit shutout through a lot of duress over 3 2/3. 99 pitches overall for the righty. Now the port sider looks in, and Samuel Basayo squares. He's not up there at a bunt. Big Sam launched one 437 feet a week ago off the batter's eye in Baltimore, and now he's squaring around in Chicago. The pitch, swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike on Basayo. He went down swinging back in the first inning, and then banked one 108 miles an hour off the starter, Shane Smith. He stayed in the ball game, rebounded to strike out Beavers looking and get Jackson swinging, and then continued into the fourth. The pitch, low and away from Newcomb. 2 balls and 1 strike. Of all the things that we've seen on the field, maybe the most surprising isn't how a player is trying to stay warm. It's how he's trying to show that he's tough. The 2-1. Low. 3 balls and 1 strike. Sean Newcomb is out there in pure short sleeves. And I assure you, it is not that kind of weather. Temperatures in the upper 30s with a breeze. The 3-1. That's low and away, ball 4. So Basayo will work a leadoff walk, and there's another base runner for the Orioles. That's the 6th free pass issued by this White Sox pitching staff. We're in the 5th inning, being presented by Navy Football. Purchase your season group and single game tickets today at NavySports.com. White Sox on top, 2-0. Dylan Beavers patrols right field today, is 0 for 2 at the plate. Down swinging in the first, and in the third, caught looking. Oh, Tyler O'Neill now will bat for him. There's a swing and a fly ball dumped into center field. Base hit. Dylan Beavers pulled back with a right-handed hitting outfielder, and Tyler O'Neill. And off the bench with a base hit. That's really good to see. And there are a couple of Orioles that have had to learn to do their daily routines differently from where they were a year ago. For Tyler O'Neill, pretty much cemented in right field when he was available. Ryan Mountcastle playing so much at first base. These guys have had to retool their day activity to get ready to be an option mid or late for manager Craig Albernaz. Jeremiah Jackson looking for contact today. Takes outside, ball 1. Orioles with the first 2 aboard. Nobody out. Trailing 2-0. Newcomb deals. And a chopper off the plate. Barehand grab made by Newcomb. Looks at second. Underhand feed over to first to get the out. He was off balance and wanted to throw on the move against his body. But then at the last moment, pulled that baseball back to his body to get the sure out at first base. 1-3 on the putout with runners advancing. Basayo now stands at third, and O'Neill into scoring position at second. That was absolutely the right decision by the veteran lefty, Sean Newcomb. But he wanted to. He wanted to do the pretty play. But on a cold day like today, well, you're never sure how that ball rolls off your fingertips. He's called his catcher, Edgar Caro, out to the mound. They're in conversation with their backs to home plate. Before the at-bat of Colton Cowser, who now has been pulled back, and Ryan Mountcastle will pinch hit. Well, this is exactly what we're talking about. Options for manager Craig Albernaz. So Mountie will pinch hit for Cowser. Cowser was 0 for 2 today, and he has really been in the soup. Tying runs in scoring position, 1 out. Pitch to Mountcastle, fouled back. That's strike 1. I asked Mountie the other day, I said, what is different about your day preparation and your routine getting ready? He said, I really try to keep it the same. It's what I've had to learn to do in game versus being an everyday player, even with an off day. 0-1 fouled away at home. Mountie in the hole 0-2. Leadoff walk to Basail. The pinch hit, base hit by O'Neill. Up on the comebacker. 1 down. Runners at second and third. The pitch. Mountcastle takes the fastball away. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sean Newcomb has been around for a long time. Originally drafted in the first round, 15th overall a dozen years ago. Early in his career, he was swapped to Atlanta. The pitch. Mountcastle taps it off into the glove. And then out of the skillet of Caro. The at-bat continues. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That rattled around and just popped out of the leather of Caro. So the at-bat continues for Mountcastle. 1-2. Over his laces. Jackknifes out of the way. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. After the Angels traded Newcomb to Atlanta, he would spend 6 years with the Braves. It's been topsy-turvy over the last couple, but he had a nice season a year ago. 2-2, fouled away. That goes over to the right screen. 48 appearances a year ago for the left-hander. The most action that he's had since 2019. He's really battled some leg injuries recently. Last year he had a couple of issues with his left knee. Pitch to Mountcastle, up and out. That wasn't even close. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Basail stands at third. O'Neill with the tying run at second. First base open. Mountcastle swings at a breaking ball, grounds it towards the hole. Backhand picked up by Montgomery, the shortstop, on to first in time to get the out. White Sox conceding the run. Basail trots across the dish. He scores, and the Orioles cut the lead in half. That's a productive out for Ryan Mountcastle. He gets the Birds on the board. And with that ball bounding in front of Tyler O'Neill, he stays put at second. So the Birds still threatening, now with 2 down. And Kobe Mayo's coming up.
I think that's why you make the move there to Mountcastle. Better chance of contact, at the very least.
Mayo takes up and away. Ball 1. Shadows creeping towards the first base line. The 1-0 to Mayo in the shade. Fouled back. 1 ball and 1 strike. There's little slivers of sunlight because of the light standard. Now crossing the right-handed batter's box and creeping up the third baseline. And we can see the migration of patrons today from shadow into sunlight. They're just drifting with the curl of the ballpark. Pitch down and in. 2 balls and 1 strike. The difference is significant between being in the shadows and the breeze versus finding little slivers of sunshine. The pitch, swing and a miss. Mayo evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kobe walked his first time up and is one of the 9 base runners the Orioles have left aboard today. Part of back-to-back comebackers to start the 4th against the starter Shane Smith. Now Mayo asked for time. 2 down, runner at second. Orioles down 2-1. Newcomb picks up the target and deals. Mayo swings and misses and goes down on strikes. Chase the high fastball at 93 miles an hour. The Orioles do tack on, taking advantage of the leadoff walk in the advance. Ryan Mountcastle drives home the run, and we hit the middle of 5th. White.
How does one of baseball's most celebrated plays connect to one of baseball's most notorious curses? Through a cross-country move, an earthquake, and the Man of Steel? Find out on Hall of Fame Connections.
It was a defensive play so iconic that we simply call it the catch.
This is the glove Willie Mays had when he made that catch. This is great.
But let me touch it for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oakland pitcher Dave Stewart was named the World Series MVP.
It really comes from like the kings of Siam would give their courtiers white elephants, which were sacred animals, and they'd be too expensive again to maintain. Would put them into financial ruin.
They need to know this story. That's amazing.
Nobody could steal a base like Ricky.
I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you.
So imagine making steals in these, though.
So these are Thai Cubs.
These are Thai Cubs.
So what I want to know is, were they ever swabbed for the DNA of opposing pitchers?
Roberts is no stranger to stolen bases himself.
That's what makes him special, is that everybody knew he was going to steal.
Roberts is going. Safe.
You know what they say? One great play deserves another.
Catch every episode of Hall of Fame Connections on MLB.tv and discover your own connections to the game at baseballhall.org.
Every Sunday home game at Oriole Park is Family Sunday, presented by Empowering Education. Bring the whole family out to the ballpark and enjoy a variety of activities, including player and coach autographs, mascot meet and greets.
Swing and a miss by the leadoff man, Andrew Benintendi.
Live entertainment, kids run the bases, and more. Play on your Sunday at the yard at Orioles.com/Family Sundays.
That's Brett Hollander. I'm Ben Wagner. We're in Chicago today, where Andrew Benintendi swings and misses again, and he's behind no balls and 2 strikes against the starter, Trevor Rogers. White Sox played at a pair in the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Birds on the board in the top of the 5th. It's a 2-1 Chicago lead. Benintendi's second time up against the big left-hander. Out of the line, the 0-2. Tapped weakly up the first baseline. Alonso charges in. He's got it. Waves away Rogers and tiptoes over to the bag to get the out. There's one away. 1 up and 1 set aside for Trevor Rogers, kind of knifing his way through this ball game. Got into 2-out trouble back in the 3rd inning when Derek Hill singled against him. Chase Mydroth then doubled down the left field side. Lenin Sosa hit an RBI single into center field, and 2 runs came in. There's the pitch. Luis Angel Acuna revved up, called for a strike, and it's 0-1. Acuna, the center fielder, 0 for 1 with a fly ball to right. 0-1. Upstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. Defensively for the Orioles, after the pinch hits, Tyler O'Neill has stayed in the ball game in right, and Leody Taveras officially replaces Ryan Mountcastle. He's in center, swinging a ball shot off, out of play off to the right. So the Orioles keep Tyler O'Neill in. That's a straight change in right field for Dylan Beavers. O'Neill still occupies the number 5 spot, and Leody Taveras now bats 7th. 1-2 coming. Swing a line drive to the gap in right center field. That's down for a base hit. Taveras hustles into the alley to cut it off. Acuna powers down after a long turnaround first. Sharp single the opposite way by Acuna. And a 1-out base runner for the White Sox here in this 5th inning. Oh, what a day it is. And I mean, there's plenty of storylines to go around. If you're a fan attending this ball game, you're certainly going to talk about it for eons. If you're participating in it, you might have the coldest game of your career. But we know many moms, dads, little boys and girls love this time of year. They're playing high school softball, baseball. Derek Hill starting to square, pulls back. Pump fake by Basayo down to first. No advance by anybody. The pitch is up and away for a ball. And listen, you know, if you've got practice lined up after school on a day like today, you know the assignment. You might not be allowed on your field to play. So you wait for the parking lot to clear out at the school, and you might have to take some ground balls on the asphalt. Late time called. Mike Esterbrook, the home plate umpire, gesturing over near the Orioles dugout about how that was awarded. Rogers might want a new baseball too. Samuel Basayo reaching back, but Rogers gives it the okay. Mayo creeping in on the grass at 3rd, and a step and a throw towards first that was sniffed out by Acuna. He's got good speed and one of the more aggressive White Sox on the bases already this season with 4 swipes. One down, runner at first. Derek Hill at the plate. Lefty deals, and the pitch is popped up. Now play beyond the first base dugout. And you know, this time of year, or as schedules for a lot of high school, junior high, little league programs get started even earlier than what we are now. Some have been playing for weeks. We know that maybe the asphalt isn't an option. You're going to the gym. 1-1. Fastball's high. 2 balls and 1 strike. And I'm not talking about, you know, these fancy facilities that they have now. A lot of schools call them the field house. I mean the gym, like the hardwood. The pitch, 2-1 fouled back. Even counted 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Oh, yeah. Basketball gyms, the fake pitcher's mounds, a netting for a batting cage.
Yeah. Or the pads on the wall you're hitting the rubber balls into off the tee.
Nothing like having a catcher inside with the gymnasium sound. The pop of the glove.
The 2-2 pitch. Fouled back again. You get the crew together and everybody starts playing catch. It sounds like a whole pack of firecrackers going off. All the popping going on inside the gymnasium. And you hope the guy next to you knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
The 2-2 pitch. Right in there for a called strike. The board had 2-2, and it is a strike 3. Mike Esterbrook indicated that that was strike 2. I think he lost track of the count there. He didn't ring him up. But that is a strike and a strikeout for Derek Hill and Trevor Rogers. 2 down. Turns the card over for Chase Meidroth. Fantastic rookie campaign. Pitch by Rogers, up and out. Snap throw down to first on a bounce. What a snag by Alonso. Wow, that glove shining again for Pete Alonso. He prevents the speed of Acuna from advancing what would have been a dangerous situation. Tyler O'Neill was sniffing out that play, too. Orioles have been so aggressive from the back end of the battery on trying to throw behind runners at first and second. No outfielder could take a play off. Squaring around, Meidroth offers at the bunt. And evens his count at 1-1. So I don't know that Acuna would have made a real aggressive dash, but a ball gets past Pete Alonso in that situation. There's a massive run at third base. Guaranteed. Acuna with 2 down, hand in his pocket. Now leads away for first. Rogers ready, and a step, and a throw that way. Gets back standing. White Sox by a run. We play in the 5th. My drop today is 1 for 2. The pitch down in the dirt off the chest of Bassao. He hustles after it out in front of the plate. An aggressive secondary lead by Acuna, but he doesn't push his limits. He knows Samuel Bassao had that ball in front of him, and he possesses a great arm. If you hesitate, you better power it down. Mayo deep at third. Maybe a stride near the line. 2-1 to Meidroth with the runner going. Fouled back. Pretty good jump by Acuna. White Sox 4-6. The Orioles are 4-6 on the year. And here we are. Another tight ball game. Orioles have played so many low-scoring games. Their offense certainly has not hit stride yet. Runner goes, the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a line drive, base hit into center field. Taveras charges in and scoops it up. Acuna stays upright and reaches third base on the base hit by Meidroth, who's got a 2-hit afternoon. And while we approach the hour of 4 o'clock here in the Central Time Zone, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Orioles Radio Network. Everybody assembled on this frigid day on the south side of Chicago. Rick Betancourt up top behind us, next to Brett Hollander. I'm Ben Wagner. Special thanks to Ryan Leschko back at Baseball Control in Charm City. Today the Orioles are down 2-1. White Sox half of the fifth inning and threatening with Acuna standing at third base and Chase Meidroth on the other corner after his single. Drew French, the pitching coach, out before the at-bat with Lenyn Sosa. Sosa was summoned to pinch hit in the ninth inning last night and bounced out 6-3. And that capped off the Orioles' win. Sosa today is 1 for 2, driving in one of the 2 runs for Chicago. His third inning single made it 2-zip. 22 home runs a season ago. Deep in the right-handed batter's box, the pitch. Sosa, a big cut and miss. Right over top of the big sweeper.
Kind of feel the game hangs in the balance right now.
Certainly do. You got the lefty on the mound, nearing the end of his rope. Next pitch will be the 85th for Trevor Rogers. And there's a massive run on the bases. That 0-1 cruises in for a called strike. A long look by Sosa. He might have thought that ball was up. And he might have been right. If the White Sox had more than one challenge, he probably taps his cap, and he would have won that. Looking at StatCast, that pitch was elevated. And Sosa falls behind 0-2.
Sosa is a chaser as a bird lands right in front of the plate. And went right by the umpire. I think they're going to stop play to kind of take care of this bird that's now just walking in front of the plate. You don't want to repeat the Randy Johnson situation. By the way, I just read an amazing article at ESPN.com about that moment. The umpire, Mike Estabrook, shoos it away. Well done. This is when you really have to trust Samuel Basayo to get an out.
He hits the buttons. Runners at first and third. The 0-2 pitch fouled back. Went after him with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
There's that part of it, but also, again, Sosa will chase. You might want to bury one here. And is young Samuel up to the task with a runner at third base?
So far, so good. And there's growing trust with this pitching staff. A more veteran pitching staff that's been assembled this year in Baltimore. With Samuel Basayo. The 0-2 pitch. Swinging a fly ball out to left field. Hit pretty well, but Ward retreats, and he's there to make the catch and retire the side. A big blast by Sosa. Ballpark holds it with a quick retreat of Ward. Runners left on the corners by Chicago here in the fifth inning. And we stay Chicago 2 and
Baldwin has been the impact player today offensively for the Braves, and now he hits one high in the air to left center field. Clark surveying. He leaps. He got it. Denzel Clark, his first home run robbery of the year, comes in Atlanta. That's why he's out there. A Superman catch from Clark.
And he tracks it the entire way. Times his leap like he's been playing center field here at Truist Park for 10 years.
Left center Profar sprints over. Oh, he lost it. It looked like it was going to be a really good play for Jurgen Profar.
He did not see that ball. He didn't even come close to it.
These interactions between De La Cruz and Tito Francona have been priceless. Come on, Ben.
Got it there? Yes, indeed.
And the ball wasn't the only thing that landed in the basket.
What in the world happened out there to Jung-Hoo Lee?
That's wild. I mean, you don't see that in the big leagues.
Here we are, Arlington, Texas. This is the Graham Slam Burger. So 2 patties, brisket, caramelized onion, American cheese, ranch aioli, or ranch mayo, if you will.
Oh, yeah, we're in Texas.
Yeah.
It's something that you definitely want to take a picture of and just put on the gram. I took a bite of it, but it still looks dope.
It's a burger that looks great, but also delicious.
Grass seed, available at the Home Depot.
Tough to have a day that's, not so great when you're at the ballpark. That's where we're at today on the south side of Chicago, despite Mother Nature dipping the temps into the 30s. And I guess technically we're at 40 degrees Fahrenheit here today, and we're having fun on the radio. White Sox have a 2-1 lead as we get into the sixth and bring back the play-by-play. with Brett Hollander.
Thank you, Ben. Well, it's not warm. Just talking to someone who works here at the ballpark. He said, don't worry. Tomorrow's going to be upper 50s, maybe even 60. That's a July day in Chicago. I can't wait for 58. Hey, it's only April the 7th. What did we expect? Blaze Alexander leading off for the Orioles, down a run. The new pitcher, the right-hander Jordan Leisure, throws a nasty slider to get the at-bat started. Swing and a miss by Alexander on 1. Third season for Leisure. Already his 6th game of the year. He's covered 5 2/3, and he's allowed 4 runs and 2 homers already. The 0-1. A little looper into left field, a base hit. A leadoff single, tie run on to begin the 6th inning for Baltimore. The 6th inning is brought to you by PNC. Patience is a winning strategy in baseball and banking. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. You can see Alexander, who did not strike that well, shaking his hands out as he got to first base, but he will take it. So there's your tying run as Taylor Ward will bat. Alexander's been on base 3 times today, once by a hit by pitch, once by error, and now a single. Right on right, and a ball down the way to Ward, 1-0. A lot of games last year for Leisure, 68 to be exact, 5-6 record with a 3.92 ERA. The White Sox actually really focused on their bullpen this past offseason. The pitch, a strike there. I think Ward thought about challenging it. He does not. It's 1-1. And I think that's a really smart move when you're trying to turn the corner, win the games you're supposed to win. They give Sir Anthony Dominguez a lot of money, the former Oriole. He's their closer now. Veteran like Sean Newcomb now here. Inside to Ward, 2-1. Newcomb got, by the way, 4 outs today, 2 hits, 1 earned run, a walk and a strikeout back as starter Shane Smith.
They also added big power right-hander Jordan Hicks.
Yep. 2-1 Chicago, top of the 6th. Down and away to Taylor Ward, 3-1. 3-1 to Ward. He's already walked twice today. Henderson on deck. Ward already has 8 walks this season. This is game number 11. There goes Blaze. The pitch is a strike, and Carroll will hold on to it. A stolen base for Blaze Alexander. His 2nd of the season. And he's in scoring position with nobody out. Good time to go. I don't know if the catcher, Carroll, just didn't get the handle on it. 3-2 to Ward. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Taylor Ward down on strikes. A huge out recorded by Leisure. And there's 1 down. So Ward has had 4 plate appearances. He has struck out twice. And he has walked twice. Leisure's got a really good slider. Here's Henderson. The mound still in the sun. Home plate and first base completely in the shadows at right field. Right on left. And this has popped up towards us just to our left. And it's a foul ball 0-1 to Henderson, who has walked. He also has an infield hit. And he has struck out with the bases loaded. The Orioles have had a threat in every inning. They've left on 9 so far today. The 0-1, high for a ball, 1-1. I beg your pardon, they left on 10. Just with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Still looking for the first big hit in a big spot. They're 1 for 9 so far today with runners in scoring position. They've left them loaded twice. Gunnar looks at one down, 2-1. To Henderson, Alexander at second base. Up and away to Gunnar. 3-1. Henderson hit his 3rd home run of the season last night. 3 home runs in 10 games this year. Last year, he hit 1 home run in his final 31 games. Quite a contrast. The 3-1. Swing and a miss. A disappearing slider. And the count is now full, 3-2. Alonso is on deck. The pitch. Cutter a mighty hack as he fouls it right back behind home plate. Spoiled 96 that time. And it remains 3-2. You got a leadoff base hit, a stolen base, runner at second, nobody out. It's 3-1 to the batter at the time, Taylor Ward. He eventually strikes out. You got to get this run in. Down 2-1 in the top of the sixth. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Henderson can't catch up to the fastball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Leisure, and they're 2 away as Alonso will bat. The Orioles today have walked 6 times, but they have struck out now 12 times. Blaze Alexander still at second, but now there are 2 down. Alonso takes a strike on 1. The pitch. Foul right back behind home plate. Big rip at that one, but quickly Alonso down 0-2. There is action in the Baltimore pen. 0-2 to Pete Alonso. The pitch by Leisure. That skips in. Nice backhanded stop by Caro, the catcher. That was in the left-handed batter's box. And it's 1-2 to Pete Alonso with big Samuel Basayo on deck. Well, the Orioles have struck out 11 times. They've walked 6 times. They only have 4 hits. They've left on 10, and they're 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Just incredible. The 1-2. Popped up foul. Out of play, back at home plate. Of course, this Orioles team, hard to figure. I think we all expect this team to hit a lot of home runs and score a lot of runs. They only have 7 home runs through 10.5 games. And in their 10 complete games, 6, they've scored 2 runs or less. Right now, only 1 run so far today. The 1-2. That's high for a ball, 2-2 to Alonso. From 0-2 to 2-2 with Blaze Alexander. At second base is the tying run. Jordan Leisure on the mound for the White Sox. Out of their bullpen, their second reliever. A long hold as he checks on Alexander. The 2-2. High in the air in center field. Acuna's back. Still going back on the track. He will make the catch. Alonso very frustrated at first base. He thought he may have had one there, but it's a long fly ball out, and the Orioles leave another on base.
The beauty of this jersey is the feel, the texture, the thin, the stitching is heavy, so you kind of feel that jersey that was very heavy. Check it out, the last name and the number, they have a little glitter on them, so they kind of stack up. It just feels right. I had some really cool cleats to go with it. The way it gets dirty when you slide, it just kind of like rubs off on that glitter. It's really, really cool.
And here's Will Smith, a chance to hand out a present on his birthday. Smith drills one, left center field. It is gone! Number 16, time and again in clutch time. Pitching change for the Diamondbacks after some birthday in bobblehead night magic from Will Smith. From down 1 to up 1.
All right, Ryan, PSA dove in. Do we have them graded?
We do. This is the first set of graded cards from the 2024 Topps MLB Network set.
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
Now, they all have the same grade, or?
No.
So one of us will be like the highest graded card.
Could be. There could be multiple. So first up, we got Mark DeRosa.
Of course, D-Rose a 10 out of 10. handsome, athletic. All right.
The Truist Club is the newest private, all-inclusive experience providing a year-round platform to host clients, reward teams, and stand out in a crowded market. There's no planning, no logistics, no stress, just show up. Offering prime views of home plate, combining the atmosphere of the most iconic ballpark with a premier game day environment. Learn more at Orioles.com/Truist Club.
All right, Ben, Trevor Rogers still out there, and his first pitch is ball one to Miguel Vargas, 1-0. 2-1 Chicago, bottom of the sixth. There is a right-hander warming up in the Baltimore pen. This is popped up, coming back towards us. Foul ball, and it will land just above us. 89 pitches now for Rogers. By the way, Alonso hit that on the screws, got it on the barrel. 105 miles per hour to dead center. A one-hopper to the shortstop, Blaze Alexander. On to first base to get Vargas, one down. Let's see if Rogers gets the chance to go through 6 innings in each of his first 3 starts. Colson Montgomery will bat left on left. And then a switch hitter, Caro, is due up. Rogers really one tough inning. Bottom of the third, a 2-out rally began for the White Sox with 2 strikes on the number 9 batter. Colson Montgomery down the right field line. Tyler O'Neill on the run, and he can't get to it. It's going to bounce and kick up and go over the fence. So it's a ground rule double for Colson Montgomery, just out of the reach of Tyler O'Neill. And that's a big run out there at second base with just 1 out. Still no sign of Craig Alvarez. A changeup that was middle there. And it took a bounce on the warning track down the line. And then it got over that fence. Left on right now as Caro bats. A strike on 1. Good changeup there by Rogers. But Rogers gave up 2 runs on 3 soft hits in succession. In the bottom of the third, all 3 hits with 2 outs and 2 strikes. And none of them were hit hard. A strike 2. Fastball there. And Rogers jumps ahead 0-2. But a huge run out there. The Orioles have just been unable to come up with a big hit today, and they've had several opportunities to not only score some runs, but to really put the pedal to the metal against Chicago. 0-2. Here's the pitch by Rogers. Down in the dirt. 1-2. Montgomery is at second base. Rogers at 94 pitches. 2-1 White Sox. But Alonso, I mean, perhaps on a summer's day, that thing's getting out by plenty. It just died out there. Down and in for a ball. 2-2. You know me, Wags. I don't study launch angles, but I know 105 at 36 is what you're looking for Pete Alonso, and he got it.
Yeah, and that wind, remember, is an impact today. The cold conditions, certainly, plus that wind coming in from left.
The 2-2. Swing and a foul tip held on to by Basayo. What a job by Big Sam. That's a punch out. Out number 2. Rogers looks towards the Orioles dugout to see if this is still his inning. No sign of Albie, and it looks like it will be. I think Rogers wants the ball. That's what you want from your ace. So 2 down, runner at second base. What a job by Trevor Rogers. Strike there to jump ahead of Murray, 0-1. 6 Ks for Trevor Rogers. 97 pitches for the left-hander. Runner at second base, but 2 away. The 0-1. Up and away, got away from him as he falls off the third base side of the mound. 1 ball and 1 strike. Good play by Basayo. Rogers, 7 scoreless on opening day, 6 innings in his next start, 91 pitches in his last start. He's at 98 right now. The pitch. Tapper, he very slowly to shortstop. Alexander waits for it. Sidearms at the first, and it's safe as the call. Alonso smothered it. He could not come up with it cleanly. It's an infield hit. And perhaps a throwing error for Blaze Alexander. Hustling up the line was Murray. And it's first and third with 2 down. Did that ball come out of the glove of Pete Alonso? It was a low throw, slightly off the bag, and Pete just didn't catch it cleanly. It was not routine. It was not an easy play. His momentum took him a little off the bag, and I'm sure Alonso will tell you that's one he's got to catch. We'll see how they score it, but first and third, it looked like Rogers was through 6, and how about Craig Albernes, keeping him in the game. Left on left against Benintendi. Off the plate, they appeal to third base on a check swing. No swing, says Malachi Moore, 1-0. 100 pitches now for Rogers here in early April. Benintendi 0 for 2, just his third at bat. The 1-0. Hopped up. Coming down from third is Mayo, calling for it. The catcher Basayo is there. Alonso, the first baseman, is there, and he makes the catch in front of the mound. It was at a mile high. Alonso makes the play. No harm, no foul on the play before, and another quality start for the Oriole ace.
If you want a Cy Young, 73, 5, and 6, I've got an extra 5. And then it says, has worked as a TV commentator. You know, and I did start back in 1978. I did the Yankees and the Red Sox playing the one-game playoff. And ABC said if the Yankees win, Reggie will play, and then you'll go broadcast with Howard Cosell and Keith Jackson. And that's how I started my broadcast. And that's the Bucky Dent home run. So every time I see Bucky Dent, I go, thank you for making me a broadcaster.
And there's a shot into left field. Vader read it well. Former Gold Glover comes up to make a very nice catch for the guy they call Big G, who has driven in a run with the 3rd straight hit to open the 5th inning. Chopper for Jazz. Hot shot. And he makes the catch. That got out there on a line, and he's telling Jose Caballero, did you see that? I could watch Jazz Chisholm play. I mean, he plays with such joy. Only David Cohn, Ron Guidry, and Mel Stottlemyre had opening day starts of 6+ innings with 2 or fewer hits and no runs allowed.
That play there to end the 6th. That was the best play on grass. Looking for an easy upgrade for your lawn this season? Go with Pennington Grass Seed, the official partner of the Baltimore Orioles Grounds Group. Pennington Grass, the grass is greener. Day is over for Rogers, and what a day again. Talk about someone you can count on. The umpire behind the plate, Mike Estabrook, is signaling something to the press box and broadcast booths. Not sure what, but Basayo is going to lead off for the Orioles against the veteran right-hander Jordan Hicks, off to a tough start with his new team. 4 appearances, a 7.36 ERA, but he can still bring it. The veteran right-hander into this game, 3rd reliever for Chicago. His first pitch, 98, and a strike 1 to Basayo, 0-1. Basayo has an infield hit. That was a rocket back to the mound, and he's walked and scored the only Orioles run. Basayo, O'Neill, and Jeremiah Jackson due up for Baltimore. This is right on left. Outside for a ball. Another firm sinker, 1-2. Or I should say 1-1. 2-1 White Sox, top of the 7th. The Orioles have squandered many opportunities today. It has been really frustrating in the cold here in Chicago. The 1-1. Big chopper. I think hit off the catcher and goes all the way back behind the backstop and into the seats. Rogers' final line, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. Vintage Trevor Rogers today. The pitch. Called strike 3. Basayo can't believe it. He wants to challenge, but he thought better of it. He's going to say something to the home plate umpire, Mike Estabrook, and walk slowly back to the Baltimore dugout. Probably wise not to challenge, although It was very close, but probably the right call, given that the Orioles only have one challenge left. But Sayo strikes out for a second time today. Tyler O'Neill will now bat. One out, bases empty, right on right, and a strike on the inside corner. That sinker's really moving right now from Jordan Hicks. Peters is now in left field for Benintendi. Down and away for a ball for O'Neill. They appeal to first base. No swing, says the first base umpire. O'Neill came on as a pinch hitter for Dylan Beavers in the fifth and got a single. One and one. O'Neill takes a strike. 99 from Jordan Hicks. White Sox ahead 2-1. Top of the seventh. The pitch. O'Neill hits this high in the air, shallow center. Long run for Acuna, the center fielder. Still racing in. He dives, and he trapped it. It's going to be a bloop single for O'Neill. The right fielder, Hill, was probably in better position. Acuna, who was playing back with O'Neill batting, he had to cover a football field to try and get to that. And then he dove, and he was just short of the baseball. So a bloop single for O'Neill. He has 2 hits today. Acuna did all he could. He shaded the other way and deep. I think that was Hill's ball.
I want to know where Hill was. What took him forever to get there? Even the second baseman going back.
Jeremiah Jackson will bat. Another runner on for Baltimore. Just their 5th hit as Jackson gets jammed and he fouls it back on 1. That was 100 out of the right hand of Jordan Hicks. Jeremiah Jackson debuted for the Orioles and in his major league career in Chicago, although on the other side of town against the Cubs. Jumped right into it with the Orioles down the stretch last year. The 0-1. Slow roller hit to third base. Murray gloves it, takes a few steps towards first, fires there to get Jeremiah Jackson. O'Neill's now at second base, but there are 2 outs. The 7th spot in the order is due up. It was Cowser, then Mountcastle was a pinch hitter. He got an RBI and a ground out. And now it will be Leody Taveras who came on as a defensive replacement. And Taveras has been red hot. Switch hitter batting left-handed. O'Neill leads from second. The pitch. Swing and a miss on 1. He was late on the heat. Right now, Jordan Hicks not messing around. The Orioles, as they bat with 2 outs in the 7th, have left on 11, and they're 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Taveras takes a strike. Bottom of the zone, 0-2. If Taveras gets on, Mayo would bat. O'Neill leads from second. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He's down on strikes. And the Orioles strand another in scoring position. We will stretch it out in Chicago. It's brought to you by MedStar Health. MedStar Health is proud.
2 strikes on Hunter. This ball hit deep left field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. It's a 1-run game. Second deck for Hunter Goodman. His first of the year. That thing went 435 feet.
You get the future Hall of Famer in for Hunter Goodman. Last year's Silver Slugger, the National League as a catcher. Just a rolling curveball. Hang it. Hunter Goodman's going to destroy it.
To see all this excitement around what I love to do growing up, it's crazy.
What's your favorite thing about this whole event so far?
The fusion of sports, entertainment, and cards. Because to me, cards have always been entertainment, and they're getting their just dessert now.
Rips this one to right center field. Back it goes! Get out! Second second career grand slam, Colson Montgomery. Liner to right center. Soler lays out, and he caught it.
Soler selective.
Jorge Soler. What a play. In the air, out towards center field. Young is back. The wall. Lifts that in the air. Left field. That's back. That's gone. Back-to-back Bregman and Happ. To short. They'll get one and two. What a turn.
Kidding me? It goes from a base hit to a double play. How about those two guys up the middle? Are you kidding me?
Casey swings. Casey hits it in the air. Casey to deep right. We're going home.
Base. It has been an extremely frustrating day for the Orioles offensively. 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They have kept the pressure on all day, but have been unable to cash in. Day over for Trevor Rogers. Yennier Cano now in this game. He is pitching sporadically as of late as he throws a two-seamer for a strike to Acuna, who squares around, pulls back, and looks at a strike. 0-1 with Cano on the mound. Orioles trying to get right back in the dugout and hit. This White Sox bullpen has been good. Slow roller to third base. Mayo waits for an in-between hop. He fires to first to get the speedy Acuna, and there is one out to begin this bottom of the seventh. That's what we want to see from Yennier. Ball just hammered into the ground like that on the sinker. The seventh inning is brought to you by the Maryland Mortgage Program's 7 steps to home ownership. Start your journey at mmp.maryland.gov. One out, bases empty for Derek Hill. A sinker missed down and away, 1-0. Yennier just pitching really infrequently right now. Everyone said they love the stuff in the spring. It's his 5th appearance. He's covered now 2 1/3. Another one that's just hammered into the ground for a foul ball, 1-1. Yennier got one out on the Sunday game in Pittsburgh in relief of Cade Povich. His last outing before that was April the 5th, was March 31. The 1-1 in there for a strike, a splitter, and it's 1-2. Orioles in the 8th have Mayo, Alexander, and Ward due up. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, put him away with a splitter. Cano busting that out on this cold day. 2 up, 2 down for Yennier. We asked him before the game, muy frío? He said, muy frío. Mucho, muy? 2 outs, bases empty as Mydroth, the leadoff batter, will bat. And that pitch runs inside for a ball, 1-0. This is the perfect pocket for Cano. Bunch of righties due up. You do have to find that right set of batters for Cano because he has struggled so much against left-handed hitters these last few years. Inside corner for a strike with a splitter. A firm one at that, and 93, 1-1. Mydroth 2 for 3 with an RBI double. The pitch. Strike on the outside corner. 1-2. By the way, final line on Rogers, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts, 101 pitches, 70 strikes. He allowed 2 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd, and that was it. The 1-2. Slow tapper hits to second base. Jeremiah Jackson up with it. Plenty of time. On to first. And a very neat and tidy 1-2-3 inning for Yennier Cano. We're 7 complete on the south side. It's 2-1 White Sox on the Orioles Radio Network.
Hard hit ball. Creedy gets up but can't come down with it. Casey didn't know. He didn't catch it. The throw by Ozuna. Got it. Oh, yes. Sean Casey obviously thought Joe Creedy caught that baseball.
Now he recognizes his mistake. A 5-7-3 put out. It's the first time I've ever seen it.
Louis Cardinals, one of the cleanest jerseys in the game. I've always felt that way. And, the birds on the bat, just an iconic logo. I mean, look how rich that yellowish gold is in the bat. All the stitching with the birds. I've just always thought it's one of the best looks in the game. 35 is the number I wore in my Major League debut. I actually think this might be the jersey from my Major League debut. So that was 2010, May 29th.
Eighth inning, Baltimore has 6 outs to play with, down a single run here on the south side, trying to mount a comeback. And in for the play-by-play, here's Ben Wagner.
Yeah, comeback would be nice, trying to make it back-to-back victories for the Orioles after slipping by the White Sox last night 2-1. They bumped this game up, hoping for a little warmer temperatures. They did get it. They got a lot of sunshine. Now they're trying to do something with it. Leading it off for the Birds, here's Kobe Mayo, and he takes inside. That's ball 1 from Jordan Hicks, who's aboard with an up-down. 13 pitches. Facing 4 batters in the 7th. Right-hander is ready. Pitch to Mayo. Jackknifes out of the way from a fastball. 2 balls and no strikes on Kobe. Kobe Mayo, Blaze Alexander, Taylor Ward coming up. Hicks, the big right-hander, fires to the plate, and Mayo swings and hits it in the air out to left field. Peters will bolt forward in the sunshine and makes the play. So there's 1 up and 1 down. This inning, we'll have a look at the Johns Hopkins Medicine out-of-town scoreboard and check action across Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, because of the cold conditions, shifting around a couple of schedules today. Of course, this ball game bumped up mid-afternoon hours. Cleveland did the same thing. The Mets were the first of the 3 games to move it around. 8 of the 15 games on the slate today projecting to have temperatures below 50 at first pitch. Blaze Alexander takes outside ball 1. Early start in Flushing today. The New York Mets have a 2-0 lead in the 5th inning over the Diamondbacks. Pitch to Alexander, swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike on the Orioles shortstop today. Diamondbacks will make their trip to Maryland coming up during the next homestand. It starts with the Giants, and then the Diamondbacks come in. 1-1. Line the other way. That's a base hit over first base and rippling up the right field line. He'll cut it off before he gets into the corner. Alexander is racing for second, and he does a head-first dive into the bag at second base, popping up with a double. And once again, Blaze Alexander finds himself aboard. Was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning, reached on an error in the 4th, got a base hit in the 6th, and then got into scoring position with a stolen base, and maybe the most pivotal opportunity that the Orioles had until this point to tie up this ball game. But Ward went down on strikes, and now here's Taylor Ward trying to do something within the bat, and the tying run in scoring position again.
Not that you wouldn't strike. Not that you wouldn't love a home run right now, Ben, but I don't know. Texas leaguer, bloop. Find some real estate out there.
Push a ball off to the right. The 0-1. Low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike. Tying run at second. Hicks brings it home. Ward takes low and away, and it's 2-1. One of those early starts went final. They walked it off in Cleveland today. Guardians pick up a 2-1 win over the Kansas City Royals. Guardians are now 7-5 on the year. Two-1 to Ward. In the air up the right field line, slicing near the truck. That's a base hit. Getting deep into the corner. Alexander turns the corner at third. He's coming home to score, and this game is tied on an RBI double from Taylor Ward. A 2-2 ball game here in the 8th inning. Finally, the Orioles are able to cash in with the runners in scoring position. Alexander teed it up with his double. Ward drives him home, and we are tied 2-2 in the 8th.
Just a great piece of hitting. Finding some real estate the other way. Not thinking about a home run or anything like that. And it nets a run for the Baltimore Orioles they've been seeking all day.
And we've got a pitching change. Will Venable out of the dugout on his way to the mound. He is going to lift Jordan Hicks out of this game after facing 8 batters. He slipped off the hook in the 7th inning.
Hit to right field, backing up Judge, running out of room on the track. Reaches up, and he made the catch.
Over the head of Beavers, walk it off. The Pirates defeat the Orioles, and they've won 4 in a row.
Adell's back near the wall. He leaps, and he caught it. Joe Adell robs Raleigh of what would have been his first home run this year. Adell is back. He's at the wall. He leaps up. He got another one. Whoa. Joe Adell, what a night.
That is unbelievable. Joe Adell.
Toward the corner. It's Joe Adell again near the foul pole. Leaping up. Did he catch it again? Joe Adell with his 3rd home run robbery tonight.
This might be the greatest defensive night by an outfielder ever. Tip of the cap, and now here we go. He gets Larry Walker, and here he is. He's going to face him right-handed. Why not? He looks like a catcher hitting. And now he's back to the left side, and a 2-out walk. So Walker reaches base after that first pitch that was like the flyby here right after the anthem.
Keep it strong all year long. As a proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles grounds crew, Pennington is all about thick, durable grass, built for life's big and small moments. Pennington grass seed, available at the Home Depot.
Chris Murphy, the setup man out of the bullpen, brought to you by Jones Junction. If your vehicle needs service, stop by Jones Junction. Any maker model, online at jonesjunction.com. Gunnar Henderson takes the ball outside, lefty on lefty with Murphy, and a slider picks the outside corner, called strike. And it evens the count on Gunnar at 1-1. Gunnar today, 1 for 3 at the plate with a walk. Got an infield single back in the 4th. The go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 out. And Henderson hits it high and deep out to right field. It's hit pretty well. Hill's back at the wall looking up. It's off the top of the fence and gone. A laser beam home run for Gunnar Henderson. And he powers the Birds on top with a 2-run shot. 4-2 Baltimore on Henderson's 4th of the season. He hits home plate, slams his hands together, and screams off into the heavens. On back-to-back days, Gunnar Henderson delivers a 3-run 8th inning for Baltimore. Pete Alonso swings at the first pitch. Bounding ball wide at third. Murray ranges to his left, picks up and throws at Alonso at first base. That dugout absolutely erupted on contact by Gunnar Henderson. And they went absolutely bananas when their designated hitter arrived at the top step. Gunnar loved it. Samuel Basallo, lefty on lefty with Murphy, takes upstairs, ball 1. There is nothing like a Gunnar goner. He's still pumped up. Swing and a miss by Basallo. 1 ball and 1 strike. Number 4 on the season for Gunnar Henderson. His 3rd on this road trip. Now time called. Basallo needs some stickum. A 3-run 8th inning for Baltimore. Taylor Ward with an RBI double to tie it, and then Gunnar Henderson in short order leave the ballpark lefty on lefty. Watch out, Basallo spins away from an inside pitch. There are certain things that you're looking for, define moments of turnaround. a couple of players individually from one season to the next. Now, Mark Gunnar Henderson is turning it around. Pitch outside from to Basayo. 3 balls and 1 strike. We've seen a much better swing. We've seen a more definitive swing, an aggressive swing at the time for Gunnar. And the power is there. Low and away, Basayo works the 2-out walk. Orioles with a base runner, and this lengthy 8th inning continues.
Well, Wags, during our world-famous Orioles Hot Stove Show on our flagship WBAL, I was shocked we had Gunnar on, and he said that he was dealing with a shoulder impingement all of last season.
Tyler O'Neill steps in, takes low, ball 1.
And to Gunnar's credit, and we've actually had this conversation with him, he never used that as an excuse the entire year last year when it was so obvious something was wrong. He had a 20 home run drop-off year over year, which is historically a gigantic number.
The 1-0, down and away, 2 balls and no strikes. And there were so many moments, you would catch the eye of somebody in kind of our broadcast trust, or, another broadcaster would pop in, and everybody asked the same question. What's going on? Is something wrong? Pitch to O'Neill. That's in tight. 3 balls, no strikes. And, at times, sometimes very, very much in the shadows or point blank, somebody would ask, are you okay? And the answer was always, I'm fine. The 3-0. Popped up the 3-0 pitch. Left side of the diamond. Shortstop Montgomery. Full regalia on. Makes the play underneath that pop-up from O'Neill, and the side is retired. What a frame for the Birds. A 3-run 8th inning. Game-tying RBI double by...
Contreras is chewing on the tape.
Yeah, why use a pocket when you could just eat it?
Who knew boys of summer need a cup of hot soup bone broth? MIT, is that you?
That looks like the catcher's play all the way.
So Manny was going to make a double play, and in the way was the runner, Arias.
I think it went off his glove and over the wall, and it's a home run for Torrens, who was not sure. That was bizarre.
On the ground, left side, Cora. 2 hopper stumbles, and the throw into the artificial surface. Now, one of those embarrassing moments that all players have. Everything's normal to this point, everything's normal here, and now it becomes abnormal.
And look, he's suppressing a smile. Yeah. Come on now. He knows that's funny.
What a shot from Gunnar Henderson. He delivers the 8th home run of the season for the Orioles. The home run count is brought to you by Ground Loop Geothermal. This season, not all the magic is on the field, but under. Let the ground you walk on heat and cool your home. That 2-run home run by Gunnar, ton wagon and everything, in between first and second as he circles the bases, gives the Birds a 4-2 lead here on the south side of Chicago. So many opportunities early just because of the amount of walks from the starter Shane Smith. Orioles couldn't capitalize on them. They've waited until late to bust out. And now they go back to the bullpen trying to lock this baby up. Lenine Sosa, Miguel Vargas, and Colson Montgomery. That's upstairs, ball 1. Last we saw Grant Wolfram was Saturday in Pittsburgh. He was battling in a big lefty-on-lefty pocket against the Pirates. Allowed a soft single to O'Neill Cruz. Then got back-to-back strikeouts on Brandon Lau and Brian Reynolds. and then induced a bounce out of Ryan O'Hearn. Pitch missed from the lefty. 2 balls and no strikes on Lenyn Sosa. The rock of the come home. Sosa takes a strike on the inside corner. Good sinker from the lefty. The pitch. Poured right over. 94-mile-an-hour sinker from Wolfram. He's had a couple of ticks up in his velocity that we noticed in spring training, and certainly hasn't subsided in the regular campaign. Sosa asks for time and backs away from the inside corner. He is heavily guarded in warm weather gear. Swing and a miss. Got him with a fastball. Sosa down on strikes and 1 out here in the 8th inning.
Wags, you know, Wolfram has pitched in much colder temperatures than this growing up in Michigan.
Michigan guy, absolutely.
This is nothing for him.
He probably played catch on the ice.
Yeah.
Miguel Vargas, the batter. Wolfram deals. And he pumps over another fastball at 95 miles an hour. A called strike 1. (4-2) Orioles. The pitch. Fastball just missed in tight. You know, I think games like this, if embraced properly, you know, the players maybe reminisce a little bit about being a kid. Those February practices with your buddies, those March dates on the schedule, especially in college. Vargas taps away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Much like we hear in hockey with the outdoor classic games, right? Hockey players lament. They get their families involved. Remember all those days that we would spend playing on the pond, outdoor hockey as a family, or waiting on Dad to build the rink? Pitch is upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Or in baseball, you know, fast forward to the great days in Little League when they played the Little League World Classic. Strike called. Right down the middle. Another 95-mile-an-hour sinker. And Wolfram's got back-to-back strikeouts. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the Baltimore Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. With Brett Hollander, I'm Ben Wagner. South side of Chicago with the earlier start versus what was scheduled. Orioles trying to make it work. 4-2 lead. Colson Montgomery, the left-hand batter, tried to hold up on his swing, and he went through. So another strike pumped in by Grant Wolfram. He's out in front. Montgomery today is 1 for 4. He doubled his last time up. Takes a slider low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike on the cleanup man. Montgomery, MLB Pipeline's top 100 prospect, takes low. Wolfram behind, 2 balls and 1 strike. Two down, nobody on. And the pitch, fouled away at home plate. Good cut by the youngster, Montgomery. Had a big second half last year in the major leagues for the White Sox. He's probably one of those guys that sooner rather than later will find himself off of the prospect list because he is somebody who's going to play a lot in the big leagues at a premier position, taking over the shortstop position. 2-2 from Wolfram. Fouled away at home plate. A couple of matchups we're watching tonight on that Johns Hopkins Medicine out-of-town scoreboard. Kevin Gausman is out to an outstanding start with the Toronto Blue Jays. Yoshinobu Yamamoto will pitch for the Dodgers. They get underway a little bit after 7 o'clock Eastern. Pitch inside. It looked like it nicked him, and it did. Oh, wow. Montgomery got nicked by that pitch. That's a rare wild miss, lefty on lefty for Grant Wolfram. He hit the batter. Matchup in the Bronx tonight. The Athletics will take on the New York Yankees. They get started a little after 7 o'clock as well. And the Red Sox and the Brewers will play at Fenway Park tonight. The former White Sox, Garrett Crochet, against Jacob Mizorowski of the Brew Crew. That's the Johns Hopkins Medicine out-of-town scoreboard. When joint pain gets in the way, turn to Johns Hopkins Medicine Orthopedics. Our experts provide world-class care to restore movement and relieve pain. Learn more at hopkinsmedicine.org/joints. Pitching change here on the south side of Chicago.
Jammed and a little pop-up. Everybody's coming, but the pitcher wants it. Now he's going to give way.
What is he doing?
It's going to be dropped.
Keystone Cops on the infield for the Rockies.
Isbell's got to beat him here, battling the sun. He bobbles and recovers. That's a highlight tape and a heck of a catch.
That went straight lawn dart. It's in the ground.
On guard.
That's it.
See, it comes off that stool down there and makes a nice catch, a hot line drive.
And Vladdy's applauding.
Well, this is a World Series card. Everybody said, you know, what's it going to be to pitch against Sandy Koufax, who's a dominant pitcher? I said, I hope I don't embarrass myself. And I didn't. You know, pitched my first shutout ever. We won 6-0, and my parents were there. My mom was afraid of heights, so she was in the upper deck. She had to come down and trade seats with somebody so she could actually watch her 20-year-old son pitch a shutout in the World Series.
Runner on third, Freddie Freeman is the batter. 3-2 comes home. Freeman drills a ball in the air, right center field. How far will it go? Big man power, Freddie Freeman. Not a question of if, but just distance. Freddie Freeman way gone to make it 4-1.
This was a big blast, over 438 feet, and for Freddie Freeman, he got all of it.
Heck of an at-bat right there.
More. Easy too. Just text ROFO to 43751 and you're in. Royal Farms. Real fresh, real fast.
This call to the bullpen is being brought to you by the auto loan experts at Point Breeze Credit Union, celebrating 90 years in your neighborhood. Fourth appearance in the big leagues for Anthony Nunez. He gets a big spot, tying run at the plate for the White Sox, and his first pitch buried and blocked by Samuel Basayo for ball one. He's facing Edgar Caro. Big numbers last season for the 23-year-old. He's got some pop.
Nunez looking for some redemption after a tough one Saturday in Pittsburgh, where it looked like maybe the moment got to him a little bit.
Especially that play on the comebacker. Pitch to Caro. Outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Certainly things would work in his favor more with strikes. Nunez had his first real test in a 2-1 ball game. Gave up an infield single. The pitch, swing and a miss, and it's 2-1. Issued a 2-out walk with runners at first and third. Jake Mangum hit the comebacker that glanced off the glove and allowed the tying run to come in and score. Nick York would later on walk it off for the Pittsburgh Pirates on Saturday. 2-1. Bounced into the dirt, shoots away from Basayo to his right, and that allows Montgomery to trot up to second base.
Yeah, you said Saturday, Craig Albarnez said it Saturday after the game, that it looked like it, quote, sped up on him a little bit, which is baseball vernacular for saying there was a moment there, but Nunez back on the mound today, trying to prove it.
Runner at second, 3-1 pitch. Swinging a hard ground ball foul just wide of the first base bag. That was ticketed for extra bases as it was skipping past the first base sack.
And Nunez spent most of last year dominating Double-A hitters. He was kind of a shock to make the ball club, then was in mop-up duty. Next thing you know, a week into the season, he was pitching with a game on the line.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. We're in the 8th. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Into the dirt. Tag applied by Bassau to complete the strikeout to retire the side in the 8th inning. Nunez comes in with a tying run at the plate, and he strikes out Caro to keep the Birds on top going to the 9th. It's Baltimore 4 and Chicago 2.
I remember the first series I had, the first home run I hit was a grand slam against Seattle, which was the team that I had played for the year before. As we know, Cleveland can get a little cold, so I will wear the dark blue long sleeves. And for some reason, this jersey, I always liked my jersey a little longer. The reasons for it, for a little padding, so when I would slide, I wouldn't get all patched up and roughed up.
What is it that kind of got you hooked as a foodie, so to speak?
My dad was really into food when I was a kid. He traveled for work and he would go to places all over Europe and stuff. He was in sales and I feel like he would come home and try and cook the things he ate overseas. And so as a kid, I was exposed to a lot of like stuff that kids aren't usually exposed to. And so I credit my dad for that.
We go to the 9th inning. Let's take 10 seconds and pause for station identification across the Orioles radio network. Thanks for joining us at the ballpark this afternoon. Next to Brett Hollander, I'm Ben Wagner. Rick Betancourt, our on-site engineer, and back at Mission Control today, Ryan Leschko. We go to the 9th inning. Orioles on top 4-2. This frame is being brought to you by SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of the Baltimore Orioles. Ryan Hudson aboard for his 4th appearance, coming out of the bullpen, waiting on Edgar Caro to get there for a warm-up toss.
And Ben, you can score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got you covered this season. Visit MLBshop.com/Orioles, the official source for your Baltimore Orioles gear.
Sounds great. Great place to stop. Get some warm gear, too.
Yeah, I'm throwing this piece of paper into the fire we have going on back here. Some kindling.
Nice little crackle in the back there in the booth next to Rick. It's real nice. Ryan Hudson ready to go. Left-hander is tough on right-handed batters and gets this designed pocket, leading it off with Jeremiah Jackson. His first pitch down and in, ball 1. JJ at the plate today. A couple of strikeouts and a couple of groundouts. 0 for 4, 1-0. Bounces to the plate. 2 balls, no strikes. Four 2-0s. The pitch. Right over for a called strike. And it's 2-1. Baltimore getting back-to-back RBI knocks and big ones. Taylor Ward at the game-tying double. And Gunnar Henderson, the go-ahead 2-run homer. The pitch. Inside corner, a called strike. Ward is remarkable, isn't he? In that leadoff spot. 6 out of the last 7 games now with an extra base hit. He's got a ton of walks, including 2 more today. 2-2, fouled away at home plate. Stays 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jeremiah Jackson. And you just get the sense that every day that you come to the ballpark, Gunner's going to do his thing. It's been that kind of start to 2026. 2-2. Jackson got hit by a pitch. Got him on the back foot. Man, that has to hurt today. I mean, it's never going to feel good, but on a day like today, where it probably feels like Jeremiah Jackson is walking on 2 big bricks of ice, That slammed right into his back foot. He gets plunked by the pitch and will work his way up the first baseline. Gives us a chance to look at what's going on down on the farm, presented by Royal Farms. Don't forget your Orioles cup the next time you fill up at Royal Farms. Enjoy discounted drinks all year long, only for the O's, only at Royal Farms. You like long balls? Today we certainly do, because Gunnar Henderson hit the 8th of the season for the Orioles. There are 7 home runs this season at AAA Norfolk, including Creed Willems, who we've got a long look at over the last couple of years during spring training. Squaring around a bunt made by Taveras. Back to the mound. It's picked up by Hudson. Throw to first just in time to get the speed of Taveras. Racing up the first baseline, sacrificing the at-bat, and moving Jeremiah Jackson into scoring position. Sacrifice goes 1-3. And Kobe Mayo bats with a runner in scoring position, and the Orioles leading 4-2. Jose Barrero, Judd Fabian, Ryan Noda, our man John Kinsey Noel, Weston Wilson also have homered for AAA Norfolk. Mayo takes a breaking ball down and in, ball 1. O's would love to pour it on here. Have a big inning in the 9th. Pitch to Mayo. Sinks a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, Ryan Helsley's warming up. He had a 2-run lead entering the 9th last night, and he walked the tightrope. Eventually did lock it down. You like it to be a little more comfortable heading into tonight's.
The 2-0. That's low. Mayo, 3 balls and no strikes.
I should say today's. I guess it's going to be the night soon. 9th inning. We were supposed to be a night game.
Past the hour of 5 o'clock, I'm going night.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Cheers. 3-0. Inside, 4-pitch walk. Now, Hudson, somebody that usually handles right-handed hitters pretty well, has not handled this frame very well at all. Jeremiah Jackson got hit by a pitch. Now a walk after the sacrifice. Runners aboard at first and second for Blaze Alexander. And the White Sox want to talk about it. Pitching coach jogs back, heavily guarded with that puffy jacket. Most of the field covered in shadow now. Wind continues to cut across from left to right. A very hearty and rambunctious crowd that had assembled with this early start. Small in numbers, but certainly rowdy while in attendance. First and second for the Orioles. Alexander cuts and misses at the first pitch, strike 1. Now he asks for time. Lifts his jersey. Wipes underneath his right eye. A couple of warm-up hacks, and now he's back in there. Knocks the big end of the bat in the center of the plate, wheels it around. Looks out at Hudson. 1 out, 2 on the pitch. Down and in. 1 ball and 1 strike on Alexander. The number 9 hitter has found some way to reach base each time he's been up today. He took one off the crown of his batting helmet his first time up, got a board on an error in the 4th inning, singled leading off the 6th inning and got a stolen base, his second of the year. Then doubled and came in to score on the game-tying base hit by Ward. He swings and misses through the 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Alexander. Good lead on the bases. The pitch. Swinging a ground ball, shot torn to third base. Murray sucks it up, goes to second for 1. Turn to first in time around the horn. Inning-ending double play. 5-4-3 from Murray to Maidroth to Sosa. And that stops the Orioles' 9th inning rally.
Thinks it's strike 3. Robert, you're thinking about that favorite restaurant. The count is 3-2.
Houston players are leaving the field. The count should be 3-2. The most decisive second strike ever called. He's trying to keep from laughing and smiling. Whoops.
Boomer is the dog. Doesn't he look good? I just follow this picture all the way. And there he is. Boomer's dad.
That was kind of a change from the everyday thing that we normally do as far as baseball cards are concerned.
Hey, I have a Labrador. Where's my card?
You know, a little bit different, and it turned out to be a fun experience.
It was just when the camera crew tried to leave that there was a problem. You can't leave.
Do you see yourself maybe one day after baseball, like maybe food critic, food writer?
I would love to do that. That's the plan. I've been doing it ever since I was in the big leagues. It's just fun. It's fun to interact with people like the fans, because a lot of my followers are baseball fans. So it's nice to interact with them on a topic that's not baseball. A lot of people seem to rally around that. I mean, who doesn't love good food?
Certainly feels a lot warmer when your ball club has the lead, courtesy of Gunnar Henderson and a 2-run home run. The go-ahead shot in the 8th inning, capping off a 3-run rally by the Orioles. It came into the at-bat, down a run. Blaze Alexander's one-out double teed it up. Taylor Ward doubled him home. And then Gunnar launched his 4th of the year. Now we go to the 9th inning with the White Sox coming up. And the O's on top 4-2. Ryan Helsley out of the bullpen will take over. Helsley looking to work on back-to-back days, featuring his fastball, slider, splitter, and curveball. Dustin Harris, just promoted, will bat for Tanner Murray. Here's the pitch to the guy that was in Charlotte last night, and it's downstairs, ball 1. More than anything, yes, neat and tidy 9th inning to get everybody back into the clubhouse, but Helsley's looking to find the strike zone after struggling early last night. The 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. Helsley came on with a 2-0 lead in the 9th inning, but 8 of his first 11 pitches were balls. With the help of Pete Alonso, he changed the 9th inning with a diving grab on Montgomery's ball on top of the line. White Sox have the tying and winning runs on. Helsley to work, throws low, and it's 2-1. After that shaky start, missing a line with the slider, 10 of his final 13 pitches were strikes, and he fanned Edgar Caro to finish the ballgame. The pitch, low, missed with the slider again, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike on somebody that had a .435 slug in 21 ball games over the last couple of years. Dustin Harris in the bigs with Texas. And the 3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4. A leadoff walk.
Yeah, I think you have a kid called up from the minor leagues in the bottom of this lineup. You got to challenge him. You're up 2 runs. A solo can't beat you.
There's the batter, Tristan Peters. Gets the corners moving on a bluff bunt attempt and takes inside, ball 1.
Let's face it, this is not exactly a lineup that's going to move heaven and earth. You're Ryan Helsley. You've been to a few All-Star games. You got to make them earn it.
Peters low in the zone, squares, pulls back, and takes high again. Did he offer at it? That's the question from Samuel Basallo. He did not. He asked the appeal. Malachi Moore said he didn't offer. A couple of elevated fastballs laid off by Peters, trying to turn in a quality at bat and get the tying run on. Nobody out. Third baseman Mayo creeping in. The pitch to Peters. There it is on the outside corner. Fastball at 94 miles an hour, over for a called strike. Peters came aboard, pinch hitting for Andrew Benintendi. And the 2-1. Swing and a miss. There's the hard stuff, a four-seam fastball at 97 miles an hour. And Peters couldn't get to it. 269 early season average for Peters. And the 2-2. Outside corner, strike three called. 99 mile an hour gas from Ryan Helsley. One down.
Well, you know it's not much of a bat when, one, you're choking up about halfway up on the bat, and you're squaring around to bunt down 2 runs. So Helsley finally turns it on and starts pounding the strike zone and says, hit this, and he couldn't.
Here comes Muratake Murakami. Left-handed slugger. Prolific numbers in Japan. First year in the major leagues. Swings and misses. Strike one. He's pinch hitting for Luis Angel Acuna. 4 home runs in his first 8 games in the major leagues. In the starting lineup last night. Off the bench today. The 0-1. On the outside corner with a splitter, called strike, and it's 0-2.
Murakami, considered one of the greatest power hitters, and the numbers say so too, in the history of Japanese baseball, but there wasn't as much demand for him in the offseason as many projected.
Helsley comes set in the 0-2 pitch. Off the corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A lot of teams were fearful of the whiff percentage that he had.
That, and specifically not being able to catch up to the heat. There's not as much velocity in Japanese baseball.
There is right now in front of him, and Ryan Helsley, who can reach triple digits. 1 out, 1 on, tying run in the batter's box. And the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He blew the heat by him at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, Murakami swung at that when it was in the catcher's mitt.
Went right after him with a 4-seamer. Right out of the hand, on the black. Late trigger pull, no chance. Runner at first after the leadoff walk. Back-to-back strikeouts for Helsley. Orioles on top 4-2. And the pitch. Swing and a miss by Derek Hill. Strike one.
You notice Helsley all of a sudden sticking with that fastball?
I think he was rewinding our broadcast from last night. Going right after these White Sox hitters. The 0-1. Fastball is high. 1 ball and 1 strike on Hill. Hill got the late assignment yesterday because Austin Hayes pulled a hammy. Came into the ball game and had a big chance late last night for Chicago. Starts today 1 for 3 at the plate with a single and a run scored. The pitch. On the inside and a challenge. The challenge
in the pitch. It's a smart challenge at this point. Both teams have 1 ABS challenge left.
The strike was called and it was low, so it's a ball. White Sox will retain the challenge. They've got 1 remaining. That pitch was low by 2 inches. Hill is 6 for 20 in the 9th inning last season. Here he is in the 9th. 2 down. The 2-1. Popped him up. Shallow right center field. Retreating back goes Jackson. Called off by the streaking Taveras. He makes the catch, racing in to finish the ball game. And the comeback is complete on the power of a 3-run 8th inning. An RBI to tie it from Taylor Ward, and the go-ahead shot from Gunnar Henderson. His 4th of the season is the difference. The Orioles pick up a 4-2 win, and they've got a shot to sweep it on the south side coming up tomorrow afternoon after claiming back-to-back ball games here in Chicago. The Orioles had many opportunities early in this one. They couldn't get some early run production with all the runners that they had in scoring position, but the drama unfolded late, and a 3-run rally in the 8th inning, good enough to get it done for a 4-2 winning edition of Orioles baseball here this afternoon. We'll come back. We'll take you through the totals. We'll have the reaction from Craig Albernaz down in the Orioles clubhouse. and also chop it up into a couple of moments and rewind this one with our highlights. That's all coming up on the postgame show. Once again, your final score, Baltimore 4 and Chicago 2 on the Orioles Radio Network.
Hey there, furniture fans. Are you tired of sitting in the dugout with that old beat-up chair? It's time to step up to the plate and score big with PVI Office Furniture in Frederick, Maryland. PVI is open on Saturdays. Swing by their showroom on Monroe Avenue in Frederick and experience the grand slam of furniture shopping. Don't miss out on the Saturday special. Mention this and receive an additional 15% off a purchase of $100 or more. Visit PVI.com today. That's PVI.com. Remember, business grows with PVI.
Here's a club you want to get into, Club Citgo. It's the super easy app that opens the door to great fuel savings and more. Sign up and instantly save 23 cents per gallon on your first fill-up, plus everyday savings that really add up. You can also enter our sweepstakes with multiple winners and giveaways, like free gas for a year. And Club Citgo makes paying easy with a convenient mobile pay feature. So welcome to the club where all the action is. Download Club Citgo today. Savings could up to 30 gallons, only at participating locations. Data rates may apply.
Navy football season tickets are on sale now. The 5-game season ticket package will feature 4 American Athletic Conference matchups. The season opener, September 5th against Towson. The jet flyovers, parachute teams, and brigade march-ons display the pageantry of Navy football. Don't miss all the exciting action in historic Annapolis at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium and get your tickets today at NavySports.com. That's NavySports.com.
Brett Hollander back here at Rate Field on a very chilly day for baseball, but a good day for baseball because the Orioles won, and they've won the first 2 games here in Chi-Town, and there was no double play today turned by the Orioles, but when they do, it's brought to you by Slocum Law. At the Mike Slocum Law Firm, we're tough because tough gets you more money. Over $1 billion so far. Injured after an accident, call the Mike Slocum Law Firm. So the Orioles win again here in Chicago. This game originally scheduled for a 6:40 Central Time start, played at 2:10 today because of the cold temperatures, and the Orioles win it 4-2. A weird game in so many ways. The conditions were a factor, particularly for pitching, but ball